Your NASCAR weekend on Speed begins now. Presented in high definition by Funai.
It is time for right turns on the left coast in front of the beautiful backdrop of wine country. It's the first road course race of the year at Infineon Raceway. NASCAR Live, presented by Geico, is coming your way next. It was not that long ago that you could throw away the road course races and not worry about them if you're going for a championship. But now times have changed. Competition level is so high right now that you got to run well everywhere on every different kind of racetrack. And that includes the road course here at Infineon Raceway in the beautiful Sonoma Valley of California. Hello, everybody. I'm John Roberts. Thanks for being with us on another full weekend of NASCAR coverage. This time coming to you from one of the prettiest places anywhere, and that is wine country in Sonoma County. Let's take a look at the menu, see what's coming up today. Here's what we got for you on Speed. Sprint Cup Series practice at 2:30 Eastern time. One shot for these guys to get it tuned in on the road course. The NASCAR Live comes back your way at 4:30 Eastern time. Barrett-Jackson Automobile Auction at 5 Eastern time, and then Sprint Cup Series qualifying comes your way at 11 o'clock Eastern time. If there is a track where track position is important and qualifying means a lot, it's got to be here. I want to introduce our good friend Randy Pemberton. Randy, first of all, a lot of people really welcome this because it's a change of scenery, beautiful countryside out here, but also a lot of people just love road course racing.
They do love road course racing, and of course when you come out here to Sonoma, the first thing you think about it, oh, it's nice, it's calm and relaxing, but then you have to get on the racetrack, and one of the most difficult things to do in the Sprint Cup Series schedule is to go to a road course. You can have a great race here, run a solid 70 or 80 laps. Next thing you know, you're off the racetrack and you just want to, it just frustrates everybody here. But we've had a lot of unexpected winners. It provides great racing action, and it will again here this weekend.
So much to lose, and it can happen in a hurry here, but let's take a look at points after 15 of the 36 races. Carl Edwards is still your points leader, but Randy, some of the big movers and shakers, of course, Kevin Harvick up a couple of positions. Denny Hamlin up 3 with the victory, but also Jimmy Johnson down 3 with a bad day at Michigan.
Yeah, and of course, then we look down there, it looks like tied for 10th or so. Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart. Of course, Gordon with the 2 wins, picks up Pocono a couple of weeks ago, and then you go even further down. This is where it gets interesting, John.
The wild card battle, as it is, Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon have the positions right now. Biffle, Martin, and Montoya want them by virtue of points, but here's the rule this year. If you have a win and you're in the top 20, if you have the most wins, you're going to move up to that wild card spot. But right now, Brad Keselowski, Regan Smith, with the wins, are outside of the top 20 in points, and that's why they could potentially leave those wins on the table and not be part of the 12-driver chase for the championship. Let's now get you down for our Lowe's Pit Report. Going to start out with Hermie Sadler. Hermie?
Well, thank you, Johnny. And look back last weekend to Michigan International Speedway. What a roller coaster weekend it was for Joe Gibbs Racing. Go back to last Friday. All 3 of their Sprint Cup Series cars were found to have unapproved oil pans. NASCAR required them to take those oil pans off. They were replaced with legal or approved oil pans before practice started. What's been kind of lost in the shuffle, however, is after all the distractions on Friday, how this organization rebounded and had a really good day at the racetrack on Sunday. Denny Hamlin, number 11, gets his first victory of the season, taking the checkered flag at Michigan. Kyle Busch also comes home with a 3rd place finish. So great job by this organization to put the distractions aside and get the job done on the racetrack. They salvaged a very good weekend at Michigan. Wendy?
Thanks, Hermie. And on this end of the garage, there's been reports about the uncertainty of Red Bull returning to NASCAR. The reports have said that Red Bull wants to pull out as a owner in the NASCAR series. However, there is also reports that Red Bull could possibly just become a sponsor for a certain driver or a certain team. But nonetheless, we do know that Red Bull does not want to return as an owner right now in the NASCAR series. Now, Jay Fry with Team Red Bull, there's been talks about what's going to happen with Team Red Bull, what's going to happen with these cars, these crew members, and the reports have been out there also that Jay Fry is looking for investors right now in this team, and then once he gets investors, they can secure what their future could be for this particular team. And we are going to keep you guys posted at home of what's happening with Red Bull, not entirely leaving NASCAR, but there is going to be some changes, and you know, Johnny, those changes are coming right now. It's the heat of the summertime, and this is when we start to see the silly season begin.
Yeah, man, silly season already, and it starts here in the heat of the summer out on the West Coast. Let's take a look at something not too silly for the Joe Gibbs Racing team, and that's the fines they were hit with after the Michigan infraction. And Randy, we need to say once again, they were unapproved oil pans, not illegal, and $50,000 for Zipadelli, Rogers, and Mike Ford, and on probation until December 31st.
Yeah, and then, of course, the car chiefs as well. You see all three car chiefs there, including the vice president of racing operations, Jimmy Makar. So you can see how serious NASCAR deemed this by not bringing that oil pan to them first and submitting it. Other than that, they didn't have to go any further. It's not that it was heavy, aerodynamic, this or that. It's irrelevant. The fact is, JR, that they didn't bring it to them.
Coming up on NASCAR Live, presented by Geico, we will talk to Kyle Busch, a former winner at this racetrack. And as always, if he's driving it, there's a chance it could win.
NASCAR Live is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. Brought to you in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at funaiamerica.com. And by Dollar General. To get your favorite brands for race day, visit Dollar General. Save time, save money every day.
This is the Nexus S 4G, the first phone that's Google to the core with Sprint's super fast 4G speed. A phone this powerful can do almost anything. So now, we can fill the internet with even more cats. With 4G speed, the latest version of Android, and the best Google apps, cats can be searched, watched, and shared faster than ever. The Nexus S 4G, only from Sprint, America's favorite 4G network.
Look, we've all dealt with the itching of athlete's foot. I can't just wash it away. Killing it takes clinical strength. I only use Lotrimin Ultra. Its powerful formula can even cure severe cases of athlete's foot. Nothing cures better. Lotrimin Ultra, the killer cure.
The Baby Back Ribs event at Golden Corral is almost over. That's right, our luscious, mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone baby backs are still on the grill, but not for long. It's Baby Back Ribs time only at Golden Corral, so hurry in.
Use an oil as durable as Quaker State, and there's no telling how many miles you'll go. But here's what'll happen when you get there. Reach 300,000 miles with eligible Quaker State motor oils, and we'll give you a check for the Kelly Blue Book trade-in value of your car. And you keep your car. No other motor oil has the molecules to make a commitment like this. Only Quaker State. Real, durable oil.
How following your passion always puts you right where you're supposed to be. NASCAR Home Tracks, where what happens on the track is just part of the story.
Sunday Racing's ultimate pre-race show gets you fired up from Infineon. Hear from NASCAR's biggest names and catch up on the latest headlines before the Sprint Cup stars hit the road course in Northern California. Don't miss NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot from Infineon, Sunday at noon Eastern, live on Speed. A lot of work for these race teams goes into road course races, and there's only 2 of them. At least with your restrictor plate program, you got 4 shots, but here on the road course, you only have 2. And of course, Jimmy Johnson, our most recent winner on this track, as he took advantage of track activity last year to get the big trophy. Let's now go to Hermie Sadler with more from Kyle Busch. Hermie?
Well, JR, if you think about Kyle Busch, in the last 4 to 6 weeks, you've been talking about his issues with Kevin Harvick, his issues with Richard Childress, but quietly on the racetrack, he's putting together a little stretch of great runs he hopes to continue at a place he's won at. This is Kyle Busch earlier in the media center.
It's exciting to get back to the road courses here in 2011, and looking forward to a good weekend for us. You know, we've run well here in the past. We've won this race in 2008, I believe it was, and so no reason why we don't expect to run well here. And, you know, we had a good test a couple weeks ago with our road course cars and trying to get our program back on course last year. It seemed like we struggled a little bit, but, you know, it's just a matter of trying to get the right brake package set up with the right car and determining, you know, how aggressive you get with your setup in the heat with the way the track temp is and stuff like that during the weekend. So seems like it'll be a particularly nice weekend here in Sonoma, and we look forward to the challenge here.
Yeah, Kyle Busch is a guy that really embraces the spotlight, whether it's good news, bad news as far as PR. But Randy Pemberton, really impressive what Kyle Busch is able to do to put all those distractions on the back burner when he gets on the racetrack. He got a third place finish at Pocono, a third at Michigan, and as he just said, coming to a place that he has won and could win again. Very impressive what he's able to do on the racetrack.
Well, saying that he's just a great race car driver is an understatement, to say the least. And I think he does have to put that behind him. Went on at Pocono between he and Kevin Harvick. Harvick driving him down to the inside on that long front stretch. And then, of course, he goes to Michigan, like you said, Ermi, turns it all around and gets a beautiful third-place finish there. He could absolutely be the winner of this race here when we leave here on Sunday.
And let's not forget Denny Hamlin as well. He's got one top 5 finish. 5th was his best finish in 5 races here, so he certainly could be a factor before all is said and done. Let's now send you back to Speed Center in Charlotte, North Carolina, where Danielle Trotta has all the latest news from the entire world of motorsports. Danielle?
Thanks so much, JR. Yeah, back here on the East Coast, we're kicking off a great weekend of racing on Speed Center. First up, NASCAR Nationwide Series at the incredible 4-mile road course at Road America. Practice still underway, folks, and as of a couple minutes ago, Jacques Villeneuve was the quickest. A couple of road course ringers, Pappas and Fellows 3rd and 4th, and your points leader, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., was 5th. The second practice for the Grand Prix of Europe was earlier today in Valencia. Defending race winner and points leader Sebastian Vettel was 3rd on the speed charts. McLaren's Lewis Hamilton 2nd. Local hero and 2-time champion Fernando Alonso was quickest of the day. Qualifying for round 7 of the MotoGP season took place this morning in the Netherlands. Marco Simoncelli scored his 2nd career pole, barely edging out American Ben Spies. Championship leader and last race winner Casey Stoner fills out your front row. Sprint Cup practice from Sonoma is coming up next. Back to NASCAR Live right after the break. I'm Danielle Trotta. See you soon.
NASCAR on Speed is presented in high definition by Funai. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, all season long, live on Speed.
Walls can talk, but it's our job to make them say something interesting. So how about this weekend we learn some new tricks of the trade? Then break out our doing clothes and get rolling. Let's use some paint that helps us get the job done in record time and makes a statement when we're finished. We're lowering the cost of a new favorite color. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Get $5 off gallon cans of our top paint brands now through July 4th only.
Is your computer running slowly?
What happens when Yamaha engineers reconstruct the personal watercraft to create the highest level of performance in an affordable package? Introducing the VXR Wave Runner from Yamaha. No other personal watercraft offers this much power and performance without the added cost of a supercharger. Sheer thrill, pure Yamaha. The VXR Wave Runner, the only watercraft of its kind.
Gentlemen, time to get close. You can't shave close if your beard is laying down.
Electric Shave stands up whiskers for an up to 52% closer shave. Lubricate skin too.
Smooth cheeks.
Electric Shave.
Get close.
Before Allegra, I couldn't get fast, non-drowsy relief in one allergy medicine. After Allegra, I have the only one that combines fast, non-drowsy 24-hour relief.
Proven effective even at 8 times high pollen levels.
After Allegra, I have it all.
More on car insurance? Do woodchucks chuck wood?
Hey, you dang woodchucks! Quit chucking my wood!
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
With enough talent and dedication, any of these race cars can take a NASCAR home tracks driver wherever they want to go.
Always good to come to the road course here at Infineon Raceway because you see some unfamiliar faces behind the wheel of the car. But Randy, when it comes to the guys who win and routinely appear in victory lane, well, those are familiar faces. And here are some of the kings of the road, if you will. Jeff Gordon, of course, his road course record speaks for itself.
Oh, man, he's just such a great road course racer. And then, of course, we remember Marcos Ambrose coming up the top of the hill, flipping the engine off, not being able to get it turned back on. And if a racetrack owes somebody one, it would be Marcos Ambrose.
Tony Stewart and Juan Pablo Montoya always threats to win. And now Jimmy Johnson with his first win at Infineon, but after he left here last year, went on to struggle at Watkins Glen. And Wendy, we all know that if you can't run well on the road courses, you can't run for a championship, and that's exactly what Jimmy Johnson did last year, was win that 5th championship.
Absolutely, and last year you really heard from Jimmy Johnson talking about his race last year and how it wasn't the greatest race. He still had a great race, but it was from the Marcos Ambrose incident that we all remember with him running out of gas. So Jimmy Johnson talked to the media this morning about last year's race that he did win.
We had a great race here last year, qualified well, led a lot of laps, and had a little bit of fortune come our way with Marcos's mistake over there going up turn 1 up the hill. But look forward to another great race. We want to expand on what we did here last year. I feel that I'm a better road course racer, and we know a little bit more about the setup we want into the car, and excited about the race.
And he's not only excited by the race, he's excited to be here in his home state of California. This is the big week for Jimmy Johnson. He had a big charity event. I just spoke with him as he sits in the race car. Raised $650,000 for his foundation this week. Jimmy Johnson excited to be back in his home state, excited to get possibly another victory here in Sonoma. He's getting suited up, ready for practice, Randy.
And I think this team, believe it or not, they need something good to happen. I know that they're up there in the point standings and they're hanging around. They're tough to beat, but they haven't gone to victory lane as we think they would. Of course, remember last week, Jimmy Johnson spins out all by himself. Now he comes out here to Sonoma. That team definitely needs a solid top 5 to get that thing headed in the right direction. Even though they're still pretty good in points, they're not quite running like they used to, Johnny.
You know, Jimmy Johnson's teammate, Jeff Gordon, the undisputed king of the road, left here with a few people a little hot under the collar at him after, running into just about everybody but the pace car out on the road course here at Sonoma. And afterwards, he was in the spotlight for a little bit. When we come back, we will talk about Jeff Gordon's race here last year. This July, baseball's biggest stars will gather together in the Arizona desert for one spectacular night in the summer's biggest event as Fox brings you every thrilling moment of the 2011 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Coverage begins Tuesday, July 12th, live from Phoenix.
Speed invades Northern California, where trouble lies around every turn. Tune in as Edwards, Ambrose, and Montoya dial in their setups and set the field with Sprint Cup practice and qualifying. Coverage from Infineon begins today at 3 Eastern on Speed.
Right here in America, more than 17 million children face the possibility of hunger. This should not be happening, not here in this country and not in our racing communities. That's why Feed the Children is teamed up with Speedway Children's Charities to stop childhood hunger in its tracks. Here where these flags fly together with pride. The race is on to end childhood hunger, and you can help. Go to speedtofeed.org for information and to join our pit crew.
This guy I met online, he could be
addicted to Dr. Drew? Shh, no one ever talks about that. Well, now, get your fix. Weeknights at 9 on HLN. We know you're excited. Just breathe.
Look, I'm a physician. I know what's important to people.
Watch Dr. Drew at 9, weeknights on HLN.
And now we can talk about love addiction.
To 11 million cancer survivors, Happy Birthday is a victory song. We're the American Cancer Society, the official sponsor of birthdays.
Gentlemen, time to get close. You can't shave close if your beard is laying down.
Electric Shave stands up whiskers for an up to 52% closer shave. Lubricate skin, too.
Smooth cheeks.
Electric Shave.
Get close.
Before Allegra, I couldn't get fast, non-drowsy relief in one allergy medicine. After Allegra, I have the only one that combines fast, non-drowsy 24-hour relief.
Proven effective even at 8 times high pollen levels.
After Allegra, I have it all.
Everybody, no question, Jeff Gordon is one of the undisputed kings of the road here at Infineon and also at Watkins Glen. His road course record speaks for itself as he has spent much time in victory lane. And look at the career at Infineon Raceway, 18 starts, 5 wins, add another 4 wins at Watkins Glen. You have a 9-time road course winner, and his average finish of 15.9 puts him up there with the best. But after he left here this last year, he had a little explaining to do to some of the other drivers.
Bumping and banging out there a lot, Jeff Gordon. Tell me about what went on the racetrack today.
Which time? Jeff Gordon's been in the top 5 all day long. He's racing with Greg Biffle for position.
Still on your left, the 24. 56 trying to go on your right. He's one back. 42 pushing to 24.
Whoa! How can he fit in there? I don't think he can.
87, one back.
Fine. I don't think we have any damage.
Yeah, 10-4. The 24 got into the 83 and knocked him into you. I mean, we might as well come in now and see what we got to do here.
Trouble in turn 11. Martin Truex Jr. goes around on the front bumper of Jeff Gordon. Gordon had to get hard on the binders because he was being pressured by Juan Pablo Montoya. What a big disappointment for Martin Truex Jr., who was having a great afternoon.
How the hell did he think he was going to dive bomb me like that? Apparently he had the 42 shoving him in the ass. I don't give a shit. I'm going to wreck them both. Seriously, I'm going to wreck them. Bye-bye, Jeff and Juan.
I apologize to him. I got it. This stupid 42. He's about to piss me off.
I really feel bad about what I did to Martin. You know that. I'm going to give him a call. I know it's probably not going to do any good.
If that was me, and my decision was either get past, lose one spot, or wreck the guy in front of me, I would have lost the spot. That's the difference. That's why I'm here. That's why he's not.
Sadler gets into the back end of Boyer for the second time this afternoon. Clint has spun.
Oh, the 24. And Temple. You've been doing that to everybody all day. You make sure Clint knows the 24 come to me.
Boy, Jeff's
on a mission today.
He really is, man.
Gordon just took us out, just completely took us out. And I feel sorry for Clint because he's trying to make the chase, and I was inside of him, and I tried to hold on to him. But I've never blocked him or raced him hard in my life. I've always given take with him, but that changed as a day.
Outside 24. Outside 24.
2 and the 24 going at it right here. Sharp elbows for Jeff Gordon today.
I think I got a flat right front. I'm not sure. All clear. I do have a flat right front. Gotta come see you guys. Jeff Gordon clobbered us.
On the restarts, you just get used up. I mean, just guys making it 3 wide, and I'm as guilty of it as anybody. You know, after they started doing it to me, I had to do it to others. And, you know, there's some things I'm not proud of that I did today, certainly with Martin. I mean, I completely messed that up. Other things that happened out there, I felt like were just really, you know, hard racing incidences. And I'm not proud of a lot of things that happened out there that I did today, but I felt like I had to do some of the same things that were happening to me. And I've raced Gordon my whole career and looked up to him with a lot of respect, and I know he runs for championships and try to give and take, but it's always kind of a little bit been about him. And I can see what he's doing. I think he's pressing because Jimmy Johnson been kicking his butt so bad the last couple of years that, you know, he feel like he's on his last leg.
Stay tuned. That's why we love road course racing, because someone's going to be mad leaving here. But, you know, Jeff Gordon was running really hard last year because he needed a win, and he needed it badly, Randy. Not to say that he's not going to run just as hard this year, but it would be for a different reason.
Well, it would be. Of course, he wants another win to solidify him in the chase. But what I'm thinking of is, after watching that piece right there, how many guys absolutely think that they owe Jeff Gordon a return favor? So you're going to see a lot of action out there, a lot of guys coming together that you wouldn't think would come together, and hopefully it's not going to be Gordon's fault this time, but there's some guys that think they owe him one.
And, you know, Jeff Gordon's awfully good on the road course, so in order, if you want to wreck him, you got to catch him first. And to catch Jeff Gordon on one of these courses is a lot easier said than done. Well, tonight, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and the rest of NASCAR's biggest names hit the road for Cup qualifying in Sonoma. You want to tune into this because starting position is huge at this racetrack. It's from Infineon. It's tonight at 11 Eastern, only on Speed.
A Venus razor, CoverGirl makeup, Olay anti-aging cream, and rubber spatulas.
What's that for?
It helps me look younger.
Does it work?
Mm-hmm.
Grandpa's gonna be so happy when he wakes up. Yeah, he's gonna look like a baby.
Only Walmart has low prices every day on everything to keep you looking young. Backed by our ad match guarantee. Save money. Live better. Walmart.
My feet are killing me.
Well, we're here to get you custom orthotic inserts.
Dr. Scholl's Custom Fit Orthotic Center recommends the custom fit orthotic that's best for your tired feet. Foot care scientists are behind it.
You'll get all-day relief.
For your tired, achy feet.
For locations, see drscholls.com.
Check out huge savings at Bass Pro Shops and BassPro.com. Like this Bass Pro Patriotic Chair for only $12.99 and the Coleman 10x10 Sundome Tent for under $100. Plus, don't miss our free family summer camp. Find out more at BassPro.com/camp.
I rely on my pit crew for a lot of things, both on and off the track. But when it comes to my cars, I take care of them myself because I know I'm going to do it right. Armor All. Care for your car. And try new Armor All Ultra Shine Butter Smooth Wax. No hazing, so it protects in half the time.
He's going with the long tongs. Would have gone short tongs, but he's a pro. Montreal steak, unbelievable flavor.
With the mouth-watering flavor of Grill Mates, you can grill like an expert. McCormick Grill Mates. Master the flame. Master the flavor.
Tell me about Castrol GTX with Dry Shield.
Helps stop particles from building up as deposits.
How?
Well, first it attracts particles.
Like a mermaid song to a lonely sailor?
Right, then it captures them.
Like a Venus flytrap.
Like a black hole.
Like a black hole in a Venus flytrap.
Then it disperses them like a T-shirt cannon.
Like a snowblower.
Like polyisobutamides. Okay, like a snowblower.
Sounds powerful.
Stop small particles
from becoming big problems.
Do you always?
Yes.
Right.
Help stop deposits before they start with Castrol GTX. It's more than just oil. It's liquid engineering.
NASCAR Live is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. Brought to you in part by Feed the Children and Speedway Children's Charities. Visit speedtofeed.org for more information. And by Race, Rock, and Refresh. To learn more about your chance to win a trip to Chicagoland Speedway and a Toyota Tundra, visit Dollar General. Save time, save money, every day.
It is a whole different ball game out of this beautiful Infineon Raceway, as it's the first of 2 road course races of the season that will definitely test man and machine. A big hurdle for NASCAR's top series coming up this weekend. Want to get some final thoughts from the garage area? Let's go down there right now, check in with Wendy and Hermie. Guys?
Thank you, Johnny. And right here where the cars are getting ready to go out for practice, Carl Edwards sits right behind me. It's a little bit breezy day here in Sonoma, but Carl Edwards had a fantastic race car in Michigan, and I just spoke with him in the race car. He said, man, I thought we were going to have that victory last week in Michigan, but with it being Father's Day, he said he had a great Father's Day with his kids and kind of puts it all into perspective when he got home at the end of the day. But as our points leader, he wants to leave Sonoma with a little bit extra edge, and a victory here would be 2 wins for Carl Edwards, and that would be a bonus. We are firing engines up in just a second, Hermie.
Well, thank you, Wendy. When you come to places like Infineon, road course specialists still have a chance to win, especially a guy like Boris said, right behind me, driving this 51 car for James Finch. But also, when you think about Infineon, think about Marcus Ambrose last year and the pressure that he's got on himself and his team this year to try to get that victory. With this new wild card system, one victory could potentially put you in position to run for a championship. Johnny?
Hermie, thanks a lot. And everybody remembers the heartbreak of that race last year for Marcus Ambrose. But you know what? He kept that smile on his face the whole time, and he is certainly, Randy, a threat to win this time around.
I think he absolutely is a threat to win. And, you know, another guy, Boris said, he has been really, really good at this racetrack. I know the last time a road course ringer won a road course race, I think it was 1973, Mark Donahue. But I want to go back to what Wendy said a little bit earlier. She was talking about the JGR guys and what they went through. You'll have to clean me up on this one, Johnny. What they went through as far as the penalties goes, I don't think that that's going to be a big deal when we come here to Sonoma. I think they're going to leave that behind them, and I think they're just going to go on, and those guys certainly want to have a good showing here.
And that team is pretty famous for racing very hard when their back is up against the wall, and you got 2 potential winners, and who knows, maybe even Joey Logano can sneak up and get one. And of course, Carl Edwards would certainly like to use his #1 points position to propel himself into a road course win, because that too will make him, it'll just give him that complete resume.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, and I mentioned this the other night on the Hub, I think besides Daytona, Indianapolis, to me, if a driver goes to victory lane in a road course, whether it be Watkins Glen or here at Infineon, you might not think that if they don't have a win, but once they get that win, it's a very big deal to say, I went left, right, and I beat the best in this sport. And everybody wants one of these trophies in their souvenir case.
And you know, Chad Canal said it a couple years ago, and I think a lot of people will agree with him. If we're going to do a type of racing, let's do it more than 2 times a year. They put all their effort into a road course program for only 2 times a year, whereas even on the restrictor plate, you at least got 4 shots. And I would be behind that 100%.
Absolutely. You got to be behind it. Incidentally, this will be Carl Edwards' only practice session here this weekend. He's going to go run the nationwide race. Going to miss all of tomorrow. 2 practices, Johnny.
So now for practice, let's go to AA, Adam Alexander.
Thank you, John. Here we go. The opening practice of the weekend for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. The first road course race of 2011. Good to have you with us. It's always gorgeous at Infineon Raceway in Sonoma, California. What you see is what you get when it comes to the weather forecast. If you don't like it, you're crazy. 71 degrees right now. Slight bit of humidity, and yes, sunny all weekend long. 0% chance of rain. Good to have you with us with Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Hammond. I'm Adam Alexander, and Darrell, last week at Michigan, 2-mile oval, big, wide open, 200 miles per hour. Today, totally different.
It is, Adam. It's finesse. Today's all about finesse. There's 2 ways a driver can get around this joint. He can do that little heel and toe thing, you know, nice tap dance in there with the pedals. That's the way the road racers do it. But then you can be an old stock car driver like I am, and you're going to stomp your way around this place, man. You're going to stomp that clutch and stomp those brakes and stomp that gas. It seems to all come out the same, though. The guy that's nice and pretty and smooth and the guy that stomps it around here, they end up about the same place.
I've got rhythm. You got rhythm. That's really what it's going to wind up being. This first practice session, folks, as we watch these drivers going around here, they're trying to get that rhythm. They're trying to figure, okay, where do I need to be shifting it again? Oh, yeah, I did that here last year. I did this. Oh, yeah, here last year. And it worked pretty good. No, that didn't work. I've got to change it. So for a lot of these drivers, it's getting that rhythm going, letting the crews know, hey, the transmission's working like it's supposed to. The brakes are stopping straight. All these things have got to happen. And guess what? They're going to be shifting up to 15 times a lap around here, making it all happen.
I'd like to have had a car that would do that. Stop when I wanted to, start when I wanted to. I'd have loved to have a car like that.
You know, and I'd like to have a driver that had rhythm.
You got to have strategy, too. And you know what? For a crew chief, Jeff, that's kind of like a math test. And I know you love a good math test.
I hated math. I'll be telling you the truth right now. But here's a guy that I'm going to be watching because either he's going to have a great day or payback's going to be at the top of a lot of people's list when it comes to Jeff Gordon, because last year he hit everybody, DW, except for his teammate Jimmy Johnson and the pace car. He ran over a lot of people, and I think there's still a lot of people who remember that.
I think you're right, but you're talking about math. This is our kind of math right here. They do it backwards. They run this race backwards, you know, trying to figure out when you want to be on pit road the last time to get that track position, because on a road course, we talk about it every week, but it's a lot more important here than anywhere we go.
A new look for the point leader, Carl Edwards, in the Ortho Ford Fusion this weekend. Matt Yoakum.
Adam, it's late June, so it must be one thing if you're Carl Edwards. It's a NASCAR road course weekend doubleheader. The agenda today is simple. He's going to work during this practice session on getting the car comfortable in race setup. Qualify the car later this afternoon, then jump in an airplane and fly to Wisconsin for Saturday's Nationwide Series race at Road America. Now, if his corporate teammate Marcos Ambrose finds something better with his race setup on Saturday's practice sessions, they will go with Marcos' setup in the 99 car. And Carl said he's completely comfortable with whatever Marcos comes up with because of his prolific road course ability. And remember one thing, the 99 has never won a road course race here at Infineon. He does have 2 nationwide road course wins, but he'd love to add another check mark on his racing resume. To Ralph Shaheen.
Matt, normally it's J.J. Yaley behind the wheel in number 46. J.J.'s been doing a great job in this car all season long, getting it in the show each and every week. He'll be back in the car next weekend at Daytona. But here at Infineon Raceway, they brought in a road course ringer. This is Andy Pilgrim, one of the best road racers in the business. Races for the Cadillac factory team and ASCCA. And Andy's getting strapped in. They've been getting the pedals all set up for him. This is the first time he's ever run a NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race. He had a couple of starts in the Nationwide Tour, almost won one at Watkins Glen. So he's going to get acclimated to Sprint Cup competition as soon as they get the pedal set, the steering wheel ready, and Andy buckled in and out on the track, Adam.
And he has an impressive resume, 7 Grand Am victories for Andy Pilgrim. And here's Dale Earnhardt Jr. making laps in the early portion of this practice session. We've seen several times this year, Darrell, where this 88 bunch has been able to go to a track where typically they haven't been good and put out a good result, and certainly road racing not necessarily his forte.
Who's his crew chief?
Steve Letarte.
Who was Jeff Gordon's crew chief?
Steve Letarte.
How does Jeff Gordon run on a road course?
Extremely well.
Check.
The good thing about it, the 88 car is the only other car in the Hendrick stables right now that's in race trim. Everybody else is getting ready to qualify. I think he's working on his rhythm.
Here's a shocker. Marcus Ambrose at the top of the board in practice.
This is the Nexus S 4G, the first phone that's Googled to the core with Sprint's super fast 4G speed. A phone this powerful can do almost anything. So now, we can fill the internet with even more cats. With 4G speed, the latest version of Android, and the best Google apps, cats can be searched, watched, and shared faster than ever. The Nexus S 4G, only from Sprint, America's favorite 4G network.
The stronger the rapids, the more we loved it. Took some wild risks when I was young, but I was still taking a risk with my cholesterol. Anyone with high cholesterol may be at increased risk of heart attack. Diet and exercise weren't enough for me. I stopped kidding myself. I've been eating healthier, exercising more, and now I'm also taking Lipitor.
If you've been kidding yourself about high cholesterol, stop. Along with diet, Lipitor has been shown to lower bad cholesterol 39 to 60%. Lipitor is FDA approved to reduce the risk of heart attack and stroke in patients who have heart disease or risk factors for heart disease.
Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. You need simple blood tests to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor if you are taking other medications or if you have any muscle pain or weakness. This may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect.
Let's go! If you have high cholesterol, you may be at increased risk of heart attack and stroke. Don't kid yourself. Talk to your doctor about your risk and about Lipitor.
Because of these changes, the battle for the 2011 NASCAR Nationwide Series trophy is going to be one for the history books. Let's continue by taking a look at some of the new cars that you'll see on track this year. Collect all four.
Are there going to be any drivers on this tour?
Ta-da!
Can they breathe in there?
The 2011 NASCAR Nationwide Series. Something new around every turn.
Speech presentation of NASCAR Sprint Cup practice from Infineon is brought to you by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, and brought to you in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at FunaiAmerica.com. The early minutes of the opening Sprint Cup Series practice of the weekend. Marcus Ambrose, Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, Jamie McMurray, Brad Keselowski, the top five.
Man, we're taking a look here at the one car, Jamie McMurray. A lot of people maybe don't think about Jamie McMurray as a road racer, but growing up being a go-kart racer like he was, he had a lot of success on the road courses. And a lot of folks look at him and say he's probably one of the more underrated road racers here.
Well, I think the other thing, too, is he has a great teammate that can help him. If he lacked anything, I think Juan Montoya could certainly help him out. So that's a good combination right there. Teammates helping teammates.
Jamie, a runner-up here in 2004, won the pole in 07.
Hey, take a look here at Martin Truex Jr. Now, guys, I was making fun about the 24 car being, having basically a target on his back. But how about this 56 car? He was one of the cars that got ran over by the 24 car, and he was really upset last year. And currently, Martin Truex Jr., he's sixth as far as his practice session is concerned. This team right here going through a lot of transitions, a lot of new crew chief and everything. So he's looking to kind of get himself a new, I guess you might say, a new start out here in California to try to jumpstart the season.
Well, this place is it's really, really difficult to race around this place, particularly in traffic, because it's so much stopping and starting. If you start before the guy in front of you is ready to go, you're going to run into him. If he stops before you're ready to stop, you're going to run into him. So you make a lot of contact, particularly down here at the turn 11 end of the racetrack. Up at the boot, there's just places here where you get out of sync with the guy in front of you, you're going to wreck him.
Talked about Jeff Gordon and his situation here last season. I know a lot of people are going to talk about that throughout this weekend, but his resume, one of the best when it comes to road course racing. 9 victories, 5 here at Sonoma.
The sprint car racer here, Dave Blaney here, driving for
but you
Tommy
know,
Baldwin.
We got Tommy Baldwin's car here with the 36 car. But, man, yeah, that's what's called dirt tracking right there.
I was going to say, he looked like he was driving a sprint car.
He's not in the dirt, but he's going to be if he keeps driving like that. But you know, Jeff Gordon, I think last year what we saw here was a frustrated Jeff Gordon. He'd been so close on a number of occasions of winning a race last year. Even when we got to here, I think he just let that frustration override his judgment last year. And he got in a little bit of trouble here and there.
And it's easy to do here, Darrell. Like you say, if you got a good race car and somebody's holding you up, you don't realize how much your frustration level can go up. Here's a guy that almost pulled off the magic win here a year ago. Robbie Gordon, this 7 car. Again, a man who has a lot of talent when it comes to racing road courses, finished 2nd, right in behind Jimmy Johnson. So he feels like, you know, I'm sure he can't wait to get replaced like Infineon.
Yeah, you know, Robbie is a great road racer. And so he can take his car and he can make up the difference. If his car is maybe not up to, maybe somebody's got a better car than he does, Robbie relies on his ability to close that gap.
I was down around this car earlier to see him block that right front up a little bit here. The thing is so interesting about him and this car is it was tore all to pieces 3 weeks ago by Kimi Räikkönen, and then we're testing, I think, at VNI and VIR, I should say. So they just rebuilt that race car. It looks like a brand new piece right there on that number 7.
David Gilliland. I don't think that's how they draw it up, is it, Darrell?
Well, it makes great pictures, I can tell you that. I love to see the pictures the cameraman get when those cars are up in the air like that. But I've seen cars hit those curves, all 4 wheels off the ground. The rights are up in the air and the lefts are just barely touching.
Hey, you know what's funny about that? Then all of a sudden he calls you on the radio and said, hey, this toe must be wrong. This thing is all over the racetrack. What did you do to it? Nothing. You're kidding me.
The best baby back ribs in America tonight. We're talking all you can eat baby backs.
Fall off the bone good. On an endless dinner buffet.
For around $10.
Golden Corral does it again. Our endless mouth-watering baby back ribs are back. Non-stop fall off the bone baby backs drenched in our signature barbecue sauce. All on our endless dinner buffet, still for around $10.
$10? I am blown away.
Golden Corral. Help yourself to happiness.
This is the information.
Action, excitement, competition. This is not your typical online auction. At Score.com, winners can save up to 70, 80, and even 99% off retail price. Here's how it works. Scored is a style of auction where you pay a small fee each time a bid is placed. When no further bids are placed, the auction closes and the item sells, even if the price is a penny. Plus, after you sign up at Score It, enter the code BIDNOW, and you'll receive $10 in free bids. Signing up is quick, easy, and doesn't require a credit card. At Score.com, thousands of bidders have already won millions of dollars of discounts. Score It features incredible and one-of-a-kind products. $1,000 gift cards, gold bars, sports collectibles, and top-end consumer electronics. Plus, you can rest assured that Score It is an accredited member of the Better Business Bureau. So what are you waiting for? Go to Score.com now. Get your $10 in free bids. Give us a try. Score.com. You bid, you score.
Just about 15 minutes into the opening practice for Sprint Cup teams in Sonoma, California. 40 of 44 cars have been on track in this session, and Tony Stewart making laps right now. 24th is where he is on the speed chart.
Always like parity. We got a Ford, we got a Dodge, we got a Toyota, and we got a Chevrolet in the first 4 spots.
And what I think is interesting right there is who is 3rd on this list is that number 11 car, Denny Hamlin, last week's winner at Michigan. And in the Victory Lane part of the program, as we were talking to him out of Victory Lane, he was talking about that's going to be a brand new ride for them. Joe Gibbs hadn't built new road race cars for quite a while, and they got a new one here and seeing how it works so far pretty good.
Here we go, across the start-finish line. Got a car in our way here. You're going to have to move out of the way, bud, or I'm going to run over you. Now I'll just go by on the inside. Up top of the hill here, turn 2. Nice acceleration here. Second gear. Down this little hill. Kind of in a dip. Thing really dived. See how that car dived around or moved around right there? Now this is a blind corner here. You come up on a hill, you can't see anything. You got to pick a spot out up there on a hill somewhere, so you know where you are in relation to the corner. Cross those ripple strips. Watch the end of that wall, man. Everybody gets so close to that. It's a good passing zone right here. This is going to lead you into the S's. So how you get out of here really determines what kind of speed you're going to make down through these S's, and positioning is everything. You got to be on the right side of the track from one turn to the next. It's like you're trying to straighten those S's out, and if you get offline, then it messes up the next corner you get to. Fast down here, you're going downhill. It doesn't seem like you'd be going that fast, but you're hauling butt down through there. Usually thing, you come down there in 4th gear, and if you don't like that lap, you just bring her on into pits. And this pit road right here, as you can see, it's just like almost like a tunnel. Come around here, around here, around here, and here's where pit road speed.
A lap with Casey Kane, the 2009 winner here, Matt.
Kevin Harvick's gone back out on the racetrack in the 29 car, sporting new colors this weekend. The Ream colors on the 29 car this weekend. Harvick says the car loose pretty much on exit everywhere. They made a chassis adjustment and changed the front sway bar. And Harvick, like so many other guys, is trying to get a good feel for this new Goodyear tire. Softer compound, different construction, should be a lot grippier on Sunday.
This car looks good. He's really hustling that car. I noticed when he come around the turn down here, the left-hander, that he was really digging down those out of the S's and down through turn 10 here.
The other thing I noticed too, Darrell, he was hitting his marks very precise, not really climbing the curves, keeping the car pretty much flat, even down through the S's coming down into 11.
Yeah, his car looks very good.
So we got practice on speed this afternoon, and we got an opportunity for you to enjoy some more programming on speed this evening at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Barrett Jackson is back live from Orange County. See some of the most incredible cars on the planet. Cross the auction block and build your dream collection. It's Barrett Jackson, Orange County, and it's tonight on Speed at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Back down to Matt.
Adam, one problem that Kevin Harvick experienced during the first run still resurfaced during the second. The water temperature, he says, acts strange through the shorter sections. 230 normally, but through those shorter sections, 260. They took a piece of tape off, going to have to work on that next time in.
You know, you get so much going on here when you're going left and right. You're slinging the car around. You got, you know, your carburetor, have to do a few things different to the carburetor. The floats in the carburetor, we have what we call road race floats. You know, some of the fuel pickup things are different. Even throwing the car around could be affecting the water pressure in the radiator. I mean, I'm not sure how it would, but it could.
So he's got a water heater company as a sponsor, and he's got water temperature problems. I assume those two are not related.
Definitely not related.
Change the thermostat.
Did you see what this Tony Stewart did when he came into that short chute up there? I mean, that car, he hit that curbing extremely hard, and that car really bounced.
Well, you got the shock package is so aggressive. You're trying to hold the car down, the body down, and that's a lot of rebound in the shock. So when you hit those curbs, it just snatches the whole car up in the air.
You know, when Tony Stewart came into the Sprint Cup Series, of course, he won a couple of championships with Joe Gibbs Racing, but he also delivered them their first road course victory, something they had never experienced in their history. Won a lot of big races, never on a road course. Tony Stewart kind of got things going. Kyle Busch continued, sweeping the 2 road course events in his first year at JGR back in 2008.
He's running in behind the 46 car, Andy Pilgrim, right there. And I'm sure he's trying to figure out, okay, I really want to get around him, but I want to make sure I don't stick my nose in there and get it slapped either.
See right behind Tony Stewart, that's David Rudiman on track. Rudiman perhaps following Stewart. That would be a good way to figure out racing at Sonoma. And David tested out here a couple of weeks ago in a late model car.
Smoke said, hey, you go up there and see if you can pass that 46. I'm tired of messing with it. I mean, you got to figure Andy Pilgrim knows how to get around here as good as anybody. There were some areas there where you could really see the difference between a road racer maybe and a stock car driver. Road racer looked like he was pretty good in some of those tight turns, struggled a little bit in some of the faster turns.
But Darrell, the one thing about this racetrack, and again, you've raced here enough to know what I'm getting ready to say, Andy Pilgrim is almost 3 seconds off of what the average everybody's running around here. If he hits certain lines at certain places, he can take your momentum away, and it's hard to pass around this racetrack.
That's why you run over people. You get frustrated, like right here. If this was during the race, you would have put up with this about 1 lap. And then somewhere up here, you're going to say, dude, you are holding me up. You're going to put the bumper to him. But see here, Pilgrim gets it low. He accelerates off his corner. He sees here he's going to let him go. But he could have easily, once you get up to this end of the racetrack, it's almost impossible to pass somebody without hitting them.
Safe to say, when you come to Sonoma as a driver, it is sharpen your elbows a little bit. Is that right, Darrell?
Oh, yeah, you're going to use them, brother. I can tell you that.
Talked about Tony Stewart and what he was able to do for Joe Gibbs Racing, putting them in the win column when it comes to road racing. And Kyle Busch, of course, followed suit in his first season back in 2008. And here's driver 18, back-to-back third-place finishes. And right now he's 8th on the practice board.
Now, this is we cut to him. It looked to me like maybe he had locked it up just a little bit, getting down into 11. Saw a little bit of smoke trailing behind the car.
Yeah, it's easy to do. When you have the camber, tires are leaned in at the top, so you got camber in both front wheels, so the car will cut. Sometimes you get on the edge of the tire that's say that you're going around the right-hand turn, the left tire is going to smoke because it doesn't have any weight on it. And again, see, there's areas of this track where we have passing zones. There are places where you feel like you could make a pass safely, but they're all from the S's down here on this other end of the back 10, 11, back past the start-finish line up to the top of the hill. You might be able to get by somebody there, but all the rest of the tracks pretty much follow the leader.
Told you Kyle Busch was 8th. His teammate Denny Hamlin 3rd right now, and the only drivers in front of him, Kurt Busch, who is 2nd, and Marcus Ambrose continues fastest in the opening practice of the weekend at Sonoma.
NASCAR on Speed is presented in high definition by Funai. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series all season long, live on Speed.
Walls can talk, but it's our job to make them say something interesting. So how about this weekend we learn some new tricks of the trade? Then break out our doing clothes and get rolling. Let's use some paint that helps us get the job done in record time and makes a statement when we're finished. We're lowering the cost of a new favorite color. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Get $5 off gallon cans of our top paint brands now through July 4th only.
Right here in America, more than 17 million children face the possibility of hunger. This should not be happening, not here in this country and not in our racing communities. That's why Feed the Children has teamed up with Speedway Children's Charities to stop childhood hunger in its tracks. Here where these flags fly together with pride. The race is on to end childhood hunger, and you can help. Go to speedtofeed.org for information and to join our pit crew.
There's mayhem in the world. Like it or not, it's a part of life. Mayhem doesn't announce itself. It doesn't call ahead. Mayhem doesn't care if you're on vacation, or just remodeled your kitchen, or just said, I do. And though mayhem may be a part of life, with an Allstate agent, you don't have to live through it alone. Are you in good hands?
Back at Sonoma, and we got one off track. David Reagan, right where you said it would happen, Darrell, down around turn 10.
Turn 10 is so deceiving. You come down through the S's right here. A lot of guys catch third gear right here. You can see he's already loose, gets off the track, makes, well, I don't know if he made any contact or not. I think he probably did. Normally you do, but if he didn't, he's a lucky man.
Very lucky. We've been talking about it off camera. Black is good, brown is bad, and that's what happens to you when you get off this road course.
See, turn 10, I came out here to school one time, and the guy told me, he said...
Excuse me, you went to school?
At road racing school.
Okay.
And so, I forget who my instructor was, Bill somebody. Anyway, he was really good. And he told me, he said, if you don't really feel comfortable downshifting going into turn 10, just go through there in high gear. Just hit your mark. The car's going to lug a little bit, but you're probably going to be smoother and you're going to make better time if you're not comfortable with your downshift. And that's what I always did, and it worked really well.
You got to know the tricks of the trade, Matt.
Absolutely, Double A. And if you're David Reagan, the past couple years, he's come out early to test a late model, just trying to get more laps on the Infineon Raceway. He was telling Drew Blickensderfer that basically the changes they made on the car helped the front of the car get more grip. The problem is he had no rear grip. He said it felt like that the car was near the end of a tire run. That's just how less grip he had, thus the spin. Ralph?
TW, I'm betting it was Bill Cooper that took you for that ride and told you about racing here. And talking about Tony Stewart, the deal here with the 14 car is he is looking for more grip out of the rear end of the car. He's putting some decent laps down in, but the problem is he's just not getting the grip off the corners that he's looking for. A lot of people talked about the elevation changes here, but ultimately it's that grip on that surface that you're looking for.
Yeah, it was Bill Cooper, and my apologies to you, Bill. You're a great instructor, and he was a great driver. He still is.
Tony Stewart heading back on track, and coming out of the S's, Brad Keselowski playing in the grass.
Woo. He got loose right there, and he dropped that left rear tire off there, Darrell. I can't believe he was able to save that car and just keep on digging, and really didn't mess his lap up that bad.
This is an interesting weekend for Brad Keselowski. His only start here at Infineon coming last season when he finished in the 35th position. But if you remember, he was doing double duty trying to win the NNS championship, going back and forth between Infineon and Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Now that he can focus on racing here, that's got to go a long way in helping him Sunday afternoon.
He's the only guy I've heard his tires crying. He's slinging that thing around like he's on dirt.
Fifth quick right now.
A minute ago.
He was, yeah. A.J. Allmendinger right now in the 43 car. Richard Petty Motorsports currently 11th quickest in this practice session.
79.50. I read this week where A.J. was asked a question, what's your plan for Sunday? He said, my plan is to follow my teammate around the whole race, that being Marcus Ambrose, and then pass him on the final lap. Now, he was obviously joking when he said that, but following Marcus around here would be a pretty good plan.
I just got to believe I felt all along, and particularly since last year when Marcus had this race won. And had he not made that error of trying to coast the car, save fuel, cut the car off, and it wouldn't crank back. It wasn't that he was trying to coast up the hill. That wasn't his intent at all. The car wouldn't crank back up. Caught him in a bad spot. But I know Marcus wants to win this race to set the record straight.
It would be a cool day for him. And here's a man that got his first career win right here at Sonoma. Juan Pablo Montoya, he knows how to wheel it around this joint.
He almost wheeled a little bit of that wall, didn't you, DW? Right there. That was a little bit closer than normal.
Take your breath away, too, when you're headed for that thing. You're hoping everything will work out and it'll turn.
Sprint brings you an inside look at what is happening now inside the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. So what is the worst starting position of a winner here at the Infineon Raceway? That would be Juan Pablo Montoya, finished in the 32nd position. Came all the way to the front and won the race. And for more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed. Here you see the numbers on Montoya. Started 32nd and drove to the front for his first career win a few years ago.
And the thing is, Adam, Darrell kind of opened the show, was talking about strategy, and you said something about it also. That's where you've got to do everything right in the pits as well as on the racetrack, because you just don't drive by 31 guys to get to the top of the heap.
You know, I was talking about hitting your marks, and I believe that phrase comes from road racing, but you want to be on the inside here. Look, you're inside there, so you can be on the outside here, right here at this turn. So you'll be on the inside there. You try to clip the inside of one corner, set you up for the outside of the next. It's a flow, and that rhythm that Jeff referred to, you got to get into that rhythm as you come through the S's all the way around this racetrack. Inside on one turn, set you up for the outside on the next. That flow is what makes a good road race.
Yeah, I was teasing Jeff earlier about the fact that this place is very mental intensive for a crew chief because of the strategy, but also for the driver because, as you just said, Darrell, you have to hit your marks, and we run a ton of laps here under green, which means you never get a break.
No, but Juan Montoya, you got his hands full right there. That's not a good place to get loose, I'll tell you. Kind of fighting with that old girl coming up through there. But see right there, you're on the inside, now you're on the outside. Now that sets you up so you can go to the outside there, back to the inside here. You're constantly going left to right, trying to straighten these turns out.
Saw him just come through turn 3. That the highest point on this racetrack at 159 feet. So if you started the start-finish line at 0, then you go all the way to the top of the hill.
He may be in racetrack, guys, but right
now
he's
elevation around this place.
23rd fastest in this thing. That's not kind of uncommon for him to be that far down there.
Ambrose still the quickest.
NASCAR Race Day invades Infineon. Clint Boyer and Denny Hamlin join us live. Plus, we tag along with Joey Logano as he helps rebuild Joplin, Missouri after the devastating tornado. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot Sunday at noon Eastern, live on Speed.
We believe everyone should get low prices every day. Every day.
On everything. On everything. And if you happen to find something lower,
we'll match it. We'll match it.
we'll match it. Any ad, any price.
Right at the register.
Get low prices every day on everything you need to beat the summer heat. Like Minute Maid lemonade or Tropicana fruit punch for just $1. Backed by our ad match guarantee. Save money, live better. Walmart.
How durable is Quaker State? Reach 300,000 miles with eligible Quaker State motor oils, and we'll give you a check for the Kelly Blue Book trade-in value of your car. Quaker State, real, durable oil.
Check out huge savings at Bass Pro Shops and BassPro.com, like Bass Pro Patriotic Flag tees for only $6, and take 25% off all XPS towables. Plus, don't miss our free family summer camp. Find out more at BassPro.com/camp.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? What, do you live under a rock?
No way. Hey, Rick, check this out.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
I'm Tony Stewart, and I wear my band to Unite for Kids. Band together with me by logging on to www.nascar.com/unites. Pledge your support.
Just over 30 minutes into the opening practice of the weekend in Sonoma, California. And now we take a look at our Feed the Children track description here at Infineon Raceway. Just under 2 miles in length, 11 turns around this racetrack. You see Jeff Burton working his way around up turn 7. And the place opened back in 1968. The Sprint Cup Series has been coming here since June of 1989.
You know who won that race? Who was crew chief in it?
I remember.
Do you?
Yeah.
Ricky Rudd won the race. And who was the crew chief?
Larry McReynolds.
That's exactly right.
One of 3 races he won here with 3 different
drivers. He always had a good set up for the road course race. And look at there. He's sitting down front here making sure we got the information correct.
Larry's got one of those things that whenever you mention his name, no matter where you are in the world, it pops up on his screen on his computer. Larry McReynolds, Larry McReynolds.
You know what he's probably doing down there right now? He's probably working on strategy for Sunday, and I'm assuming all of your crew chief friends better be doing the same thing right now.
Well, I guess there could be some debate, and Larry and Jeff know this better than I do. I just drive and come in when they tell me to. But it seems to me like this race has been won on 2 stops.
It has.
And of course, I guess the trend lately has been, though, more than 3 stops, right?
It's been more than 3 stops, and I think a lot of that is because, again, I think the speeds are quicker than they used to be, Darrell. I think the overall the fuel capacity. There's been a lot of factors that have kind of changed in the last few years because, 2009 when Casey Kane won, and then last year when Jimmy Johnson won, they all made 3 pit stops. And I think that this year it has been no different because I think they're burning fuel more. Taking a look here at the 7 car, look like some debris coming off that race car.
That's P.J. Jones driving a second car out of the Robbie Gordon Motorsports camp. We look at the replay.
Whoa,
that don't work. That don't work.
Yeah, you're going to get a little. He's lucky.
Very
really
lucky. Yes, he is.
Sometimes in a race, shortcuts are good. Not necessarily here.
No, just remember what we said. Black is good, brown is bad. He's in the bad. That would be off course. You don't want to be off course. But back to the strategy thing. So what would you do? I mean, you see, you run 35 laps. Can you run 35 laps?
Pretty close, yeah. 34, 35.
What do you think, Larry? How many laps can you run?
I thought it was closer to the 40 lap. Am I remembering right? Is that too many? Larry's going through his notes. 35 to 38 is the number we got.
But see, what you want to be able to do, the key is you want to be the first guy on pit road if at all possible. Make your pit stop and then be able to get yourself in that kind of cycle to where all of a sudden when you end up, you're going to be out in front of everybody. And it sounds easy, but there's so many guys that will be doing it exactly when you are. So qualifying is a very important thing because that gives you that track position to kind of dictate your strategy and put yourself in that kind of a cycle to where you can get out in front of somebody.
But you know what? Just thinking about Jeff Gordon and how aggressive he was here last year. Something we haven't thought about, I think has changed maybe the aggressiveness on a road course, double file restart.
Absolutely.
See, back in the day, we were always single file. So, I mean, you could be 10th and be back in a line over here. They'd be taking a green flag. You'd still be down here in the middle of turn 11. So these double file restarts, I think, have created some of the aggressiveness we've seen.
Speaking about getting aggressive right here,
David Mayhew driving the 66 today. And if he can get it in the show, it'll be Michael McDowell who drives it on Sunday. Now we head down into the garage with Ralph Shaheen.
Down here with the 43 of A.J. Allmendinger. He's posted the 11th quickest time right now. He's dealing with traction issues on the backside of the race car. Car's a little loose. That's why a lot of the teams, when they try to find a place to go test, they're not worried so much about just can we find a place that has elevation, but what place might represent the same type of grip. That's why Jeff Gordon and his crew went to Mid-Ohio this past year, or a couple of weeks back, trying to get some feel for the racetrack surface there, thinking that might be similar to what they would experience racing here. And another thing we're hearing a lot about, Jeff, down here, obviously, with road course racing, brakes. Guys trying to find a good feel for the brakes, making sure the pedal's responsive and that they have plenty of it throughout the day.
And Ralph, that's a very good point because two things that'll get you in trouble on the road course: lack of brakes and trying to use the transmission for brakes, because that usually means you're going to tear something up.
Yeah.
You've got to get that car to stop in a straight line with enough aggressiveness so you can stay out of that gearbox DW.
And see, that's the thing another thing that road racers are really good at is stopping the car while it's still going straight. As an oval track racer, I always wanted to drive down in the corner as hard as I could, slam on the brakes and grab a gear, and to get the car all messed up, get it all out of shape, get it all upset. Road racers, they stop in a straight line before they get to the corner. That's why you see them make those real late apexes. They be way out wide, particularly down here at 11, way out wide, stopping the car. Then they release the brake, and when they do, they make the turn right here. You see how wide Dale Jr. is getting passed by Carl Edwards here, but you make that late entry, and that way you got the car stopped. Then you get off the brake, and then all you got to do is accelerate off the corner. That's how you make good time.
Not to sell yourself short, I thought you had some really good runs and great wins at the old Riverside Speedway. We ran well here. I think your best finish here was 5th, but we didn't qualify well that one time.
All 44 cars had practiced. Marcus Ambrose, Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, the top 3 at Sonoma.
Barrett Jackson Haggerty Fantasy Bid returns to speed. Watch the auction live from Orange County. and bid for your chance to win cool prizes. Barrett Jackson Haggerty Fantasy Bid, live tonight at 5 Eastern on Speed.
And remember, as Aaron's spokesperson, you are the face of Aaron's, the leader in sales and lease ownership. The stores where everyone is pre-approved.
Got it, Ken.
What? I thought I was Aaron's spokesperson.
Yeah, right.
Watch and learn, Rudy.
That's my girl.
Action.
And remember, when you want a guaranteed low price on name brand furniture, electronics, appliances, and computers,
you don't need credit. All you need is Aaron. Don't worry, Daddy. One day you'll be the Aaron spokesperson.
You don't have to go ball.
Action, excitement, competition. This is not your typical online auction. At Score.com, winners can save up to 70, 80, and even 99% off retail price. Here's how it works. Scored is a style of auction where you pay a small fee each time a bid is placed. When no further bids are placed, the auction closes and the item sells, even if the price is a penny. Plus, after you sign up at Score It, enter the code BIDNOW and you'll receive $10 in free bids. Signing up is quick, easy, and doesn't require a credit card. At Score.com, thousands of bidders have already won millions of dollars of discounts. Score It features incredible and one-of-a-kind products. $1,000 gift cards, gold bars, sports collectibles, and top-end consumer electronics. Plus, you can rest assured that Scored is an accredited member of the Better Business Bureau. So what are you waiting for? Go to Scored.com now. Get your $10 in free bids. Give us a try. Scored.com. You bid, you score.
Today, Sprint Cup Series practice at Infineon. Tomorrow, it is trackside. Marcus Ambrose will be there. It's the biggest party in wine country. Don't miss it. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern time on Speed.
I know what it said.
But it's tonight.
But it's tonight.
Oh, it's tonight.
Yeah, it's tonight.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm reading it.
Look, you read it. You read what
I
was
sold
written.
it too, didn't I?
Yeah,
I sold it.
Yeah.
You sold it. Let's confirm.
I was saying,
Let's
man, I
confirm.
guess I'll go out to dinner tonight.
And you know what? I bet it's PM. I bet it's PM and not
It
AM
is.
too,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So we got Marcus Ambrose on trackside tonight.
Yes.
Last year, leading the race, caution comes out, just a handful of laps to go, and this happens.
Yeah. Well, of course we know that's like we said. That's going uphill right there. Worst possible place this could happen. But with these cable-driven fuel systems now, when the car runs out of gas, it's harder to get it cranked back up. And that was the problem Marcus had. He couldn't get the car to fire back up. It wasn't that he was trying to save all that much fuel. It was that he couldn't get it to crank once he turned it off.
He ended up finishing 6th in the race, Matt.
One guy very impressive so far during practice is the 22 team and Kurt Busch. A new tire here. A lot of guys up and down the garage area said that one constant is lack of grip, and the times are really falling off on the stopwatch. Are you experiencing the same?
Yeah, the times really drop off. You know, I'm not a Goodyear engineer or a NASCAR strategist sitting in the booth, but if you got guys that are going and putting their tires on and trying to stretch 30 laps out of their tank of gas on fuel, well, why don't you build a softer tire that'll make the tires wear out faster? That way, there's more of a strategy on what's going on when to pit for the final time. So this should shake it up quite a bit here at Sonoma. We noticed it when we were testing, just the drop-off. So right now, Shell Pennzoil Dodge is good. We'll switch into Q-Trim, see what we got.
This place and road course racing in general is a lot about feel. Now, I heard you mention something about the transmission. Third and fourth were okay, but you're experiencing a strange sensation with first and second.
Yeah, I'm just letting them know anything that I feel. And right now, if I had to race this box, I'd tell the transmission guys to really look at the way the dogs are engaging for second and first gear. It just seems like it's a hesitant click when it goes into gear.
Top 5 in practice so far. Double A.
And here's what impresses me about Kurt Busch. And Darrell, I know you got something to add here, but he said they're switching to Q-Trim, and right now he's second on the board. He must be pretty good.
Yeah, but what I like is that analogy that he was making. The tires are going to fall off. Yeah, well, they always do. If you go back and look, we've never had a tire here that didn't fall off dramatically in a fuel run. And then he's talking about his gearbox. Drivers are always going to be talking about the gearbox right up to the time a race starts. Does it have the right ratios? It's not shifting exactly right. Those are just things that we, as a driver, you constantly are concerned about here. The tires giving out and the car not handling, and that gearbox. You got your hand on that shifter. You're reading that thing just like like you're taking its pulse all the time. You feel anything a little unusual in that gearbox, you panic, because you know that they're very fragile, actually. They're tougher than they used to be, but you can tear one up with that pole you got in your hand right there.
I think what's interesting, we look at last year's winner, Jimmy Johnson here. You finally start figuring out how to road race and get your win here. And then they come back and they got a little different fuel, which makes it burn a little more, so it's going to change your strategy. They change the tire on you, and you just can't figure it out. I mean, here again, they probably had a really good combination last year. I'm just wondering if that same combination is going to work this year like it did last year, because, Darrell, believe it or not, the last 6 races here at Infineon, we had 6 different winners.
Yeah, well, I'll just kind of remember what a guy told me one time. You know, if it was perfect, I'd still be doing it.
Okay.
Jimmy Johnson right now 22nd. Here's Joey Logano, one of a couple of drivers in the field on Sunday that are doing double duty this week. And when I say double duty, I mean double duty here. He's running the K&N Pro Series West race tomorrow. He was 3rd quick in that practice session earlier today, and right now he's 10th here in P1 for the Cup car.
And Darrell, that's got to help you, doesn't it? I mean, as a driver, would you not like to be able to get out there and run some that morning and kind of get your marks and get your rhythm going? Because to me, more seat time, it always a benefit for you.
How many road courses do we go to in a year? 2. How many laps do you get, on 1.5 and other racetracks over and over repetition? You need all the laps you can get on a road course to smooth out those kinks, to get that timing, to be able to hit those marks. Click that shifter, rev the engine, tap that accelerator, make that thing jump into gear by itself. You don't have to force it. Those are all things that takes practice, and you can get more laps, the better off you're going to be.
Adam, one thing I noticed here on this 20 car, a little different configuration with that front nose. You look like you see the big black dots on the front end. Those are brake duct openings, and what that allows us to do as far as crew chiefs is to kind of tune how much tape you really need going to these brakes. So sometimes the operating temperature of a brake, if the guy's not using a whole lot, you could put more tape on it. That gives that front end more grip. So I'm sure this is what Greg Zipadelli and everybody, engineers on this 20 car, they've got it set up to do, is to be able to take advantage of how much tape they can run versus how much cooling they need for the brakes.
You know what I used to, Adam, and he knows. Sunday morning I walked by that car and it had any tape on the grill or on the brake ducts, I pulled it off. Because crew chiefs, they want to put tape on there for speed. But as a driver, I'm going to be tucked right up behind the guy. I'm going to be on somebody's bumper all the time. I'm not going to get a lot of air to the nose of this car. And so that tape will get you in more trouble than it not being on there, Will. So I usually walk around, I look at the front of my car and say, get that off of there.
And then, Jeff, you said, hey, he took the tape off. Go put it back on, right?
No, well, they put me in the car, they tape it back up. But I fixed it for a little while.
I ate breakfast and got heartburn. 3rd day this week, so I took my heartburn pill and some antacids. We're having Mexican tonight, so another pill then? Unless we eat later, then pill later. If I get a snack now, pill now. Skip the snack, pill later. Late dinner, pill now? I have got heartburn in my head.
Stop the madness of treating frequent heartburn. It's simple with Prilosec OTC. 1 pill a day, 24 hours, 0 heartburn.
No heartburn in the first place? Great.
The adhesive brand trusted by dads is the same adhesive brand trusted by pit crews. For over 50 years, Loctite has formulated adhesive products for some of the world's most challenging jobs. Loctite, trusted performance, proven results.
Green flag.
Would have gone short tongues, but he's a pro.
Montreal steak, unbelievable flavor.
With the mouth-watering flavor of Grill Mates, you can grill like an expert. McCormick Grill Mates. Master the flame. Master the flavor.
Finding free NASCAR merchandise and gear just got easier. Just enter your official NASCAR hologram code at NASCAR.com/hologram for a chance to score free gear and great offers, or a VIP experience that puts you right next to the action.
Speed's coverage of NASCAR Sprint Cup Series practice from Infineon, brought to you by Feed the Children and Speedway Children's Charities. Visit speedtofeed.org for more information. And in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at FunaiAmerica.com. There is a fine balance between patience and aggression when it comes to the road course, Darrell.
Yeah, if you can see here, this is Dave Blaney, and he's, or no, that's Blaney. Yeah, he gets a little sideways right there. And it's just from overdriving the corner. You keep wanting more and more and more. You see here, he locks up the right front. He's just, and it seems like a lap here. If it starts to go bad, it just all goes bad. You lose it up on one end of the track, you try to make it up on the other, and it just keeps building and building and mushrooming until you just come in and say, we got to do something.
And we were talking about the 22 switching over from race setup to qualifying setup. It'll be some subtle changes, but the thing is right now, as you're watching the 4-car Casey Kane here, is that these guys start trying to go faster and faster. Now we're taking a look at the 60 car, and this is Mike Skinner here. Mike, whoa! I thought maybe we were going to change the oil on that car. It got so high.
See, I don't know why they call it. They call them speed bumps, don't they? I'm not sure why.
Speed curves.
I think they're warning devices more than anything.
There was no speed in that one, but there was a big bump.
Got some air. I'll say that's some sweet air.
Skinner's missed the field in the last 2 races. We should point out that this is the practice session that will set the qualifying lineup later this afternoon. Right now, Marcus Ambrose is quickest. He would be the last car out in the qualifying session. Andy Pilgrim is 44th of the 44 that have been out and are here this weekend, so he would be the first out to qualify.
And Darrell, what I was going to say about that, the qualifying setup and the times, is that, again, you know how much all of a sudden you get grip in this race car. You're able to run that little bit more front tape on it because you know you can get by with it during the qualifying session. But all of a sudden these cars will pick up a second or a second and a half, and you say, wow, where'd that come from? And it's all because you're able to do what? You're able to drive it in a little deeper with a fresh set of tires. Everything's working like it needs to, and you kind of throw caution to the wind, and all of a sudden some pretty incredible times will be produced.
Yeah, well, as a driver, I know when we talk about how much the tires are falling off, obviously if you put new tires on, you're going to gain all that back, plus more. That what you have to remember as a driver when you get ready to go qualify particularly is we're going to make the car faster. If you just do your job, the driver always wants to overdo it. That'll get you in trouble on the road course. You go out and do your job. We're going to take this thing up. We're going to put 4 tires on it. Sound like Harry Hogg now. We're going to give you 4 perfectly matched tires, and you're going to go out there, and you're going to be amazed at how fast you can get around this racetrack if you don't screw up.
See Tony Stewart and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jr. right now 20th in this practice session. Stewart is 25th on the speed charts.
Both those guys have got quite a few laps on this racetrack right now. Tony Stewart's run 13. Dale Jr.'s run 11.
Brad Keselowski, 15, has turned more than anyone. And you see the 37 car of Chris Cook. His home base, about 30 minutes up the road. Tony Raines has been driving this 37 car, but he's spotting this weekend for Chris.
And the reason they got Chris in this, Chris is a very accomplished road racer and an instructor, and does really usually a nice job when he comes out to Infineon. A lot of people have gone to Chris not only to get some tune-up for here at Infineon or places like Watkins Glen, but also to put him in their car to kind of give him a little bit more of an advantage of making the race.
And I would guess Chris has been to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin to run Road America. You know, the Grand Am Sports Car Series has not been there in 10 years, but they are back for the first time in a decade this weekend. Tomorrow, live at noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. It is the Rolex Sports Car Series from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. We've got it right here on Speed.
See, Adam, Jeff, I think a good road racer has to be considered a multitasker. I mean, I think a guy that in real life, just not behind the wheel of a race car, a guy that can multitask, like a Tony Stewart. You think all the things that he's involved in. I think that helps you drive a road course because you have to do more things here per lap than you ever thought about doing on an oval. Oval, you put in high gear, lock it in, turn left. Here you have so many things going on: brake, gas, clutch, shifting, left, right, staying on the course, hitting the speed bumps. So many things going on that you have to deal with. And I think if you're a good driver on a road course, you're probably a pretty good multitasker.
And to your point, Darrell, we see Ryan Newman here. He's currently 14th, and he said this week, this is one of the most physically demanding places that you will go to as a race car driver.
By all means.
Hey, I like what Ryan Newman told us this morning at breakfast. Is when you ask him about you got your shifting shoes or your driving shoes on, what did he say? 2 left feet.
That's what he said.
Ralph?
Down here with Robbie Gordon, who just got out of his car, and you were telling me you didn't feel too good about it until you looked at the board, and then what did the time of the board tell you?
Yeah, well, we went out there. That was our third run, actually, on that set of tires. And it was an 1890, and I was like kind of bummed. And then I walked over the board and looked, and it's about the fastest lap the current lap on the racetrack right now. So, I know that guys that went faster when it was a little bit cooler, but as the track rubbers up, track slows down a little bit.
So we're talking to people, we're hearing it's going to be a 3-stop race. We hear about the aggressive nature of how you have to run this event now. So how do you approach this? Because for some drivers like yourself, this could be an opportunity between here and Watkins Glen. Get some wins, maybe even get yourself in the chase.
Well, we finished second last year here, and it's a race that we want to try to win, and put a lot of effort into it. But we're still trying to find the right balance on our race car. We're got probably 2 more shots at it before qualifying. My goal for qualifying is somewhere inside the top 10. If I feel we qualify inside the top 10, we got a shot at winning.
Adam?
He is a multitasker. He can do it all, can he?
Supreme multitasker.
And this weekend, not just a driver, but an owner. He's got 2 cars here. P.J. Jones driving the other.
NASCAR Race Day invades Infineon. Clint Boyer and Denny Hamlin join us live. Plus, we tag along with Joey Logano as he helps rebuild Joplin, Missouri after the devastating tornado. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, Sunday at noon Eastern, live on Speed.
Use an oil as durable as Quaker State, and there's no telling how many miles you'll go. But here's what'll happen when you get there. Reach 300,000 miles with eligible Quaker State motor oils, and we'll give you a check for the Kelley Blue Book trade-in value of your car. And you keep your car. No other motor oil has the molecules to make a commitment like this. Only Quaker State. Real, durable oil.
Hi, I'm Otto Williams from Money.
They itch, sweat, burn, smell. You could have foot dermatitis. It's what Gold Bond medicated foot powder was made for. Medicated to tackle the itch. Keeps feet dry. Look for the healing seal. Gold Bond foot powder. Works as hard as your feet.
I'm a dancer, and until now, my feet showed it.
Since foot skin's 20 times thicker, there's Gold Bond Ultimate Healing Foot Cream. 7 penetrating moisturizers and vitamins help heal rough, dry feet. Gold Bond Ultimate Foot Cream.
This stuff really works.
Uh-oh.
When diarrhea hits, KO. KO Pectate stops it fast. Powerful liquid relief speeds to the source fast to stop diarrhea and get your system back to normal.
Fast.
KO Pectate. Stop the fast with KO.
I'm a dancer, and until now, my feet showed it.
Since foot skin's 20 times thicker, there's Gold Bond Ultimate Healing Foot Cream. 7 penetrating moisturizers and vitamins help heal rough, dry feet. Gold Bond Ultimate Foot Cream.
This stuff really works.
Closing in on the 1-hour mark in a 90-minute practice session. Marcus Ambrose, Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, Jamie McMurray, Brad Keselowski, the top 5. And here's the man that won at Sonoma 1 year ago.
Hey, watch this. That's one of those hey, watch this moments.
Do you think somewhere Chad Knaus has got his hand over his eyes?
No, that's just, as a crew chief, I believe, Jeff can speak to this better than I, you want to know your driver is out there giving it all he's got. Don't want to be holding anything back. We're trying to get this thing right for the race. If you're going to curve it like that, do it now so we can see what it does.
Yeah, that's the only thing that you worry about. Again, now he comes across here a little bit more out of control. I'd like to see him from this monitor angle, but I want to know what he's going to do and how he's going to attack this road course. I mean, and you got to attack it. You've got to get up on that steering wheel and make it happen. It's not a long race. It's only 218 miles. But I promise you, and I think you talked about this earlier, about physically how demanding it is. And Darrell talked about it, mentally how demanding it is. You've got to be focused. You've got to be able to get up on there and do everything right. But you got to go out and do it in practice too. You can't just go out there and lollygag around and come back and say, well, the car felt good, and you're a second and a half off everybody else.
Yeah, I just never wanted to get into the race and say, well, when I tried to do this, the car wouldn't do what I wanted to. When I tried to do something, and then in my mind I'm thinking, well, I never tried that in practice. Maybe it's a way of getting around one of these turns, like using the curb to make it turn. And then when I get in the race, I hadn't done that, and I need to do it, and I can't.
You know, you look at Jimmy Johnson, wasn't great early in his career as a road racer, but he has really worked on the craft. It's not uncommon to see him running a Grand Am race when the opportunity presents itself, and the only way you're ever going to get really good at this kind of racing is to go out and practice, and he has done plenty of that. Got his first win in this race, as Jeff pointed out, 1 year ago.
Well, what I think is interesting, and Darrell already brought it up, Darrell had already had a lot of road course experience, but what did he do when he came to Infineon, a different animal? He got somebody to tell him, this is how you need to do it, how you need to attack this racetrack. Because this, to me, is a very technical racetrack. It's not just one you can get by with. You got to be precise.
You always have to hit your marks. Marcus Ambrose quickest in practice. Time now for a Speed Center update. Off to Charlotte, North Carolina, and Danielle Trotta.
Thanks, Adam. We're keeping the Speed Center set warmed up for you while you're away, having a lot of fun and following some pretty big storylines. First up, IndyCar practice just wrapping up at Iowa Speedway. Your 2007 and 2009 winner, Dario Franchitti, was fastest on the tiny, high-banked oval. Right now, Dario is tied at the top of the standings with Will Power, who was 6th quickest. Takuma Sato was 2nd in that practice. Traveling overseas now for the second practice for the Grand Prix of Europe. Earlier today in Valencia, defending race winner and points leader Sebastian Vettel was 3rd on the speed charts. McLaren's Lewis Hamilton 2nd. Local hero and 2-time champ Fernando Alonso was quickest of the day. In other F1 news, pending FIA approval, the new engine regulations set to go into effect in 2013 have now been pushed back until 2014. They will use a V6 turbo power plant rather than the originally proposed 4-cylinder turbo. The engine will, however, still feature a green hybrid system. Sprint Cup practice continues right after the break. Barrett Jackson's at 5. I'm Danielle Trotta. We'll see you soon.
Some people think Allstate only protects your car. Here's the truth. Allstate can also protect your home or apartment, as well as your boat, motorcycle, RV, and snowmobile, and even your retirement and your life. Not many insurance companies can say that, but Allstate can. Now that you know the truth, know this. The more of your world you put in good hands, the more you can save. Dollar for dollar, nobody protects you like Allstate.
Hydration where you least expect it. From your razor. Schick Hydro. Water-activated gel hydrates your skin throughout each shave and lasts up to twice as long as ordinary strips, while 5 blades with skin guards smooth the skin to reduce irritation. Our best shave for your skin. Schick Hydro. Free your skin.
The Baby Back Ribs event at Golden Corral is almost over. That's right, our luscious, mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone baby backs are still on the grill, but not for long. It's Baby Back Ribs time only at Golden Corral, so hurry in.
Imagine if you could keep your engine as close as possible to factory clean. Pennzoil Ultra, a revolutionary synthetic oil that takes clean where it's never been before. Nothing feels like a factory clean engine, and nothing keeps you closer to factory clean than Pennzoil Ultra Motor Oil.
Speed presents the greatest collector car event in the world. Tonight, see the finest, rarest, and most incredible cars on the planet. All in one place, all up for grabs. Watch the auction live and build your dream collection.
Barrett-Jackson, Orange County, presented by Castrol GTX. Live tonight at 5 Eastern, only on Speed.
At the Glen, Ricky Taylor was unstoppable.
They come over the way of the checkered flag.
Putting the number 10 within striking distance of the champions.
He wanted to win it. He wanted to beat Pruitt.
Saturday, for the first time in a decade, Grand Am returns to Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. This is road racing at its best. Don't miss the Rolex Sports Car Series, live from Road America, Saturday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, only on Speed, the Motorsports Authority.
25 minutes left in practice at Infineon Raceway. It's been entertaining so far.
Yep, on the bump, on the bump, on the bump, 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 on the bump, on the bump, on the bump, 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 on the bump, on the bump, bump, bump.
Hop, skipping away. I like this one.
Yeah, baby.
I think for style points, 60 gets my vote. Mike Skinner.
Big Red, putting on a big show.
He just about put on a big show a moment ago when we were in break coming down through the S's.
He did.
Got a lot of cars right now that have been swapped over from race trim and gotten into qualifying trim. We saw a moment ago.
The racetrack. No grip, no forward bite, no forward bite. Air pressure did not feel good.
Okay. Anything?
We agree.
Analyze that.
Is there anything about this car you like?
You know, you could see the frustration in Mike's eyes the last couple of weeks, certainly at Pocono when he wrecked the car in qualifying, and again last week at Michigan. This team is in a bit of a tailspin.
Well, I think they got behind. You know, they've wrecked a couple of cars. I don't think they have a lot of race cars. And anytime you start wrecking stuff and you don't have a big inventory, it gets you in a hole.
Mike Skinner right now 37th of the 44 cars that have been on track. And Sprint brings you an inside look at what is happening now inside the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Most wins here at Infineon. That would be Jeff Gordon, a 5-time winner. Combine that with the 4 he has at Watkins Glen, and he's the best road course racer of all time in the wins column. For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed.
You know, I do this every week, but it just shows how close these guys are together. Our first 4 cars, 77.78, 77.82, 77.95, and 77.99. That's the first 4 guys. And people always say, well, why is it so hard to pass? How are you going to pass people when we all run the same speed?
Knock them out of the way.
That's the only way.
That's the only way. Hey, I want to go back to that 24 car. You were talking about all those impressive road course credentials that this man has amassed. But the one thing I do find interesting about the last time he won, he's not won since we switched to this new style car. He's really struggled with this new COT design. So it'll be interesting to see if Allen and all the guys over there, if they can come up with a combination that he likes here this weekend to be able to get him back on track. He's run well here, but he just hasn't gotten the victory lane.
Talked about the late part of this session being reserved for practice qualifying runs. We saw Kurt Busch go back out on track. He was 3rd in practice, and now he's jumped up to 2nd. His lap was 77.82, so he went a bit quicker, an indication certainly that he has made the move over to a qualifying run. And Marcus Ambrose has been at the top of the board really this entire session.
I can't wait to hear what you got to say about this one.
Here's a car with no rear grip. I mean, he's basically sliding this car all over the track. Martin Truex is. Saw him up there in the tighter part of the course. Just had to back in that car all hung out. Can't put the power down because he doesn't have any rear grip. And that's, just think about it, folks. We got 850 horsepower, and you got that thing in 2nd gear, and you're trying to apply power. That's a challenge for a crew chief and a driver.
Speaking of challenges right there, that's the 47 car this year being driven by Bobby Labonte. Now, you would think, as good as Bobby is, and Frankie Kerr was a crew chief on this 47 car a year ago with Marcus Ambrose driving it, that had a chance to win the race, and you know, they would be one of the cars you need to kind of keep an eye on because it should be a good combination getting out here.
I really think he will be. I mean, he's 16th quick right now, and I think they're going to see some good run, another good run out of this 47 car because of the notes they have from last year.
Well, a year ago, it was Marcus Ambrose who was driving that 47, as Jeff pointed out. This season, Marcus in a Ford, driving the RPM number 9, and he is no doubt a favorite again. Quickest early in this session. He's now second behind Kyle Busch, who just completed a practice qualifying run.
And just watch how smooth he is around the racetrack.
It looks like the 9 is on a Q run right now, Ralph.
Yeah, he's on a flyer, Adam. He is in full qualifying trim right now. They found a good spot on the racetrack for him. You got to make sure you don't have traffic right in front of you, right behind you. Good, clean spot on the track. Get the car up to temp. He's ready to go. So he's definitely on a flyer. This is going to be interesting to see what kind of time he posts.
And here's the thing that you'll notice. You'll use the curbs a little bit on a qualifying run, but you don't have to get all up on top of them and get all that air, because now you've got grip. You use those curves to turn the car, but now you've got grip, so you'll be able to judge just how much on that curve you want to get.
And talking to Robbie Loomis, team manager for Richie Petty Motorsports, about this car. They built a brand new car for Marcus. You know, they're putting an all-out effort. They know how talented he is, and they've been to a couple different racetracks. They went to Road Atlanta, the latest test, to try to make sure that they had it dialed in exactly like they needed to. Also talked to the guys at Roush Fenway who are putting together the gearboxes for this number 9 this weekend, and they said that Marcus likes just a little bit of a different combination than anybody else over at Roush Fenway. So everybody's kind of learning from this road race ace here to see this year whether or not they can get to the victory lane with this number 9.
It's going to be a heck of a lap.
It looked awesome.
It's as smooth as you're going to get around here, and he's making speed.
Kyle Busch went 77.73, and Ambrose 77.91 on that lap. So about 0.2 of a second slower.
Second quick.
Kyle Busch continues quickest in practice at Infineon.
Tomorrow on Speed, the NASCAR excitement hits high gear in Infineon when Marcos Ambrose brings some international flavor to the wildest party in racing. Don't miss NASCAR Trackside, tomorrow at 11 Eastern, only on Speed.
Tide laundry detergent, Downy fabric softener, Bounce dryer sheets, and a pie pan.
Looks like someone used my nice clean towels again for his mud pies.
Was it me?
Who's this?
That guy? Never seen that guy in my life.
Only Walmart has low prices every day on everything to keep your wash fresh and clean. Backed by our ad match guarantee. Save money. Live better. Walmart. The adhesive brand trusted by dads is the same adhesive brand trusted by professionals. For over 50 years, Loctite has formulated adhesive products for some of the world's most challenging jobs. Loctite. Trusted performance, proven results.
Remember when making dinner meant finding just the right stick for your hot dog? Then keep the tradition going with big savings from Bass Pro Shops. Now you can save $2,000 on select Tahoe runabouts and Sun Tracker pontoon boats.
Right here in America, more than 17 million children face the possibility of hunger. This should not be happening, not here in this country and not in our racing communities. That's why Feed the Children has teamed up with Speedway Children's Charities to stop childhood hunger in its tracks. Here where these flags fly together with pride. The race is on to end childhood hunger, and you can help. Go to speedtofeed.org for information and to join our pit crew.
Hey Kurt, it's Kyle. Hey, you got a minute?
Not really, kind of busy.
You've got to check out the new NASCAR.com race view. I mean, these new virtual graphics make my car look almost real. Did you know fans can customize this to follow me all race long and listen to my in-car audio? And now my fans can even watch you try to keep up with me in the new head-to-head view. I mean, how cool is that?
Check out the brand new and dramatically improved race view, only at NASCAR.com.
Kurt, hey, Kurt.
Daytona International Speedway offering an unforgettable inside deal package that includes a pre-race pit pass, tickets to the Coke Zero 400, and a Richard Petty driving experience ride along. Visit speed.com/deals for more details. About 15 minutes left in the opening practice of the weekend. You see Casey Kane on track. He just made a practice qualifying run, jumped up to 4th. Kyle Busch still the quickest. Marcus Ambrose second. Kurt Busch third. We told you about Kane, who's 4th. McMurray in the top 5 in the 5th position. Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., Brian Vickers, and Joey Logano make up the top 10. And you would anticipate there will be more qualifying runs as we wind down practice. When you look at the go or go home drivers, because there are 44 drivers here this weekend, one driver not going to make the field. Joe Nemechek is quickest of that group. 30th is where he is overall. And the bottom 4, Tony Ave, P.J. Jones, David Mayhew, and Andy Pilgrim.
Jeff, I don't like the way I don't like the way this car looks at all. It's way up in the air. It's just up on top of the racetrack. They need to get that. Look at that nose. I know it. It's going to slam down when it gets to the corner, but the thing is up in the air everywhere.
Well, it looks to me almost like they got too soft a rear spring package in the car, because all of a sudden when you saw it come around that one part up in the S's, the car had basically reeled back on the right rear and picked the left front up. I mean, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get forward bite, but you can't let the car get off the ground like that. Not in that area, I don't think.
No, I agree.
And this is kind of survival weekend for a guy like David Reagan. I mean, road racing is not his thing. He's never had a top 20 finish, but Darrell, he's in the top 20 in points. And we're going to some places where you would think he'd have success. Daytona and Kentucky, some more 1.5 miles between now and the chase. So if he can stay in the top 20 and then get to one of those places where they feel like they got a chance to win, he can stay in front of the game a little bit.
I think his whole career, almost his whole life right now, depends on getting some wins. He just got to get some wins with this car, and he got to get them fast.
Denny Hamlin just about got the end of that wall, guys. The car really got loose to that part of the racetrack.
Hamlin's only turned 6 laps in this practice session, and he was in the top 5 for the first hour or so, and now with some guys making Q runs, he's dropped back to 6th.
I think this team is like a slot machine. They were not hitting the jackpot when the season started, but we knew they were loaded up. And I think once they did that win last week, look out, that thing's going to start paying big. It's going to pay off big time.
Well, and let's face it, he had the car to beat a couple of weeks ago at Pocono. We all know they had the issues late. As you look at his results from the last 3 races, 3rd at Kansas, leads the most laps at Pocono. And Darrell, you mentioned the victory, his first of the year coming a week ago at Michigan. There is no doubt they have turned things up a bit.
Well, and I don't know why, but I mentioned this statistic a couple of times. Then he said he wasn't real fond of it. But the 11 number is 1 win away from tying for the all-time winningest number. The 43 right now has 198 wins, and the 11 has 197. Denny has 17 of those. And if next time he wins, he'll tie Richard Petty or the 43 number. And then the next time he wins, the 11 will be the all-time winningest car number.
And 11's had some pretty good drivers over the years.
I'd say.
Yeah. Hall of Famers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know at least a couple.
I'm just going to rest my case.
Kyle Busch, quickest in practice with a handful of minutes remaining.
The stronger the rapids, the more we loved it. Took some wild risks when I was young, but I was still taking a risk with my cholesterol. Anyone with high cholesterol may be at increased risk of heart attack. Diet and exercise weren't enough for me. I stopped kidding myself. I've been eating healthier, exercising more, and now I'm also taking Lipitor. If you've been kidding yourself about high cholesterol, stop. Along with diet, Lipitor has been shown to lower bad cholesterol 39 to 60%. Lipitor is FDA approved to reduce the risk of heart attack and stroke in patients who have heart disease or risk factors for heart disease.
Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. You need simple blood tests to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor if you are taking other medications or if you have any muscle pain or weakness. This may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect.
Let's go!
If you have high cholesterol, you may be at increased risk of heart attack and stroke. Don't kid yourself. Talk to your doctor about your risk and about Lipitor.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson.
Now is the time to take advantage of a great offer from Xfinity, only from Comcast. Get Xfinity Internet for $14.99 a month for 6 months and get the speed you need to upload photos, download music, and more. Plus, surf the web safely with Constant Guard, our comprehensive security suite, a $360 value. Switch today to Xfinity Internet for $14.99 a month for 6 months and start doing more of what you want online. Call 866-814-5972 today.
11 minutes left in practice, and the theme, better to be on the black than the brown, Jeff.
Yeah, black is good, brown is bad, and this is the reason why.
These guys are getting, you can tell it's getting close to qualifying time. Start putting a little extra effort and a whole lot of effort here. And Jeff, that car, basically what we were talking about a bit ago is I think they need to do a little work on that 6 car. Get him down on the track, get him in the track.
They've got a lot of problems, and they better fix them. Otherwise, they're not going to be as lucky the next time. I
saw the 2 car here, Keselowski. He went around turn 10. I thought he was out of here just this last time by.
He's been working hard today. 17 laps in this practice. Tony Stewart's turned 18. 16 for Carl Edwards, 17 for David Reagan. Sunday, it's racing's ultimate pre-race show, firing up from Infineon. The biggest names will be here as we get set for the opening road course race of the year. Don't miss NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. It happens Sunday at noon Eastern Time, only right here on Speed.
As we take a look at this 2 car interior, it looks like he's headed back to the garage area, but as this practice starts to wind down, guys, just remember where you post your speed is where you're going to go out qualifying. And this afternoon we go out, the later the better. And you know yourself, Darrell, this racetrack gets more grippier the cooler it gets.
Hey, here's a guy that's a very good road racer through the years. Mark's been one of the best road racers in the series. I haven't said a lot about him today. He's 33rd, probably just working on race setup if I know Mark. But back when he drove for Jack Roush, when you went to Watkins Glen and in Sonoma here, he was the man.
But looking at what's going on here, at least by the number of laps that Mark has run around this racetrack, he's only run 8. So it makes me wonder what they have been working on there.
Well, whatever it is, he's not liking it because he would have run more laps than that if he was happy with his car.
What are they saying about the 5, Ralph?
Yeah, well, he said earlier on today that he felt like it was the slowest car he's ever had here. So they've had a lot to work on with the number 5. So your eyes are telling you the truth there, Darrell. He's not very happy with that car. He's been working on it all morning long.
Yeah, Ralph, it looks slow, and it's another one of those cars, a lot like we saw with the 6 car, like it's just not down in the track.
How about this? 4 road course victories for Mark Martin. All of them from the pole. Track position is huge when we come to one of these kinds of tracks.
Well, Mark's one of those kind of drivers. I mean, he's a veteran driver with a lot of experience, and just like if Matt Kenseth last week in Michigan. Matt Kenseth was somebody you knew could win the race at Michigan last week because he qualified up front. And that's the way Mark Martin is. You give him a good car, put him up front, he's your winner. And he won't be getting a chicken dinner.
Yeah, Mark Martin this weekend and Terry Labonte will remain at the top when it comes to starts at Infineon, both making their 21st here. Mark Martin 9th at Michigan last week, only a handful of points outside the top 10, so he still has his mind on making the chase at season's end.
Must have started kind of like, they must have finally got the setup like they needed to have for P.J. Jones in his 77 car. He just ran his 6th lap and moved up to 40 quicker. So one of the guys that's got to go home here, find a little bit of speed late in this practice.
7.5 minutes remaining in session 1.
Barrett Jackson Haggerty Fantasy Bid returns to Speed. Watch the auction live from Orange County and bid for your chance to win cool prizes. Barrett Jackson Haggerty Fantasy Bid, live tonight at 5 Eastern on Speed.
Green flag.
long tongs. Would have gone short tongs, but he's a pro. Montreal steak, unbelievable flavor.
With the mouth-watering flavor of Grill Mates, you can grill like an expert. McCormick Grill Mates. Master the flame. Master the flavor.
The adhesive brand trusted by dads is the same adhesive brand trusted by pit crews. For over 50 years, Loctite has formulated adhesive products for some of the world's most challenging jobs. Loctite, trusted performance, proven results.
Speed's presentation of NASCAR Sprint Cup Series practice from Infineon, brought to you by Johnsonville. Sausage is all we do. The closing minutes of practice from Infineon, and time to show us what you got. Jamie McMurray has gone to the top. Right behind him, Tony Stewart, and David Gilliland now third. Marcus Ambrose is fourth. There goes Martin Truex Jr. to the top.
Oh, we're seeing these guys now that they're going out. That's what I said about Marcus there earlier. That was not a full-blown. I mean, I know he was on a qualifying run, but he had a lot left in the tank.
Yeah, boy. You need another one or not?
Other end of the spectrum, David Mayhew. David Mayhew driving the 66, the quickest of the go-or-go homers. Bottom three in that category, Andy Pilgrim, Mike Skinner, and Tony Abe. One of those will go home.
I think what he's asking, Martin, is do you need to make another qualifying run? Were you happy with the car? You need another one. He doesn't, obviously another lap wouldn't do any good. But what do you think? Can we get in, put four tires, don't get out, and make another run?
So here are the go-or-go-home drivers, and one of these guys will not make the field. You see Ave in the 38 in for Travis Quapple this week. Trans Am driver, won the championship last year. David Mayhew right now quickest, and if Mayhew gets the 66 in, Michael McDowell will drive the car on Sunday. He's driving the 18 nationwide car tomorrow.
But the thing I want to take a look at here, when you see that list, what do they all have in common? Every one of them are like road race experts. I mean, they've been brought in to try to get these cars into the race.
Common denominator. Got to watch out for him.
That's it. Common.
Hey, you know, Martin Truex, top of the board right now. He qualified in the top 10 in the last two races here. So not a big surprise, I don't guess.
No, but again, going back to a year ago, he was having a really solid run until he ran into Mr. Gordon, and that kind of ended his day.
Whoops. You want to rephrase that?
Well,
Mr. Gordon ran into him.
You know what I mean.
And a reminder, qualifying later today here on Speed, and it will be the practice times from this session that sets the qualifying lineup. The slowest will go out fast, the quickest, the slowest will go out first, the quickest will go out last, and everyone else falls in between in their respective practice positions.
Well, Adam, the track record is 75.950 seconds. That was set by Jeff Gordon back in 05. We're at 77.02. I've seen many a time when qualifying goes this afternoon late, track cools off a little bit, put four tires and tape these things up. That track record is going to be right on the edge.
Well, the thing is right now, Kurt Busch has now set that time, and that means he's almost a half a second faster than the rest of the competition in that 22 car.
Kurt Busch making a late push to be quickest.
The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series comes to Infineon Raceway in Sonoma. Toyota Save Mart 350, June 24th through 26th. The Toyota Save Mart 350, part of the Big O Tires racing season. Tickets at InfineonRaceway.com. Think outside the oval.
Kawasaki's Good Time Sales Event is giving you an absurd amount of chances to win big and save even bigger. We're giving away 4 Vulcan 1700 Vaqueros, and you can also win a Ninja 250R or a Bayou 250 at each of our 820 participating Kawasaki dealerships nationwide. And if that's not enough, we're giving away a ton of other great prizes and the chance to save huge on vehicles and accessories. Kawasaki's Good Time Sales Event. Get started now at Kawasaki.com/win to get your ticket. Then hurry into your dealer to see if you've won.
Use an oil as durable as Quaker State, and there's no telling how many miles you'll go. But here's what'll happen when you get there.
Reach 300,000 miles with eligible Quaker State motor oils, and we'll give you a check for the Kelly Blue Book trade-in value of your car. And you keep your car. No other motor oil has the molecules to make a commitment like this. Only Quaker State. Real, durable oil.
This is more than a ticket. It's a wallet-sized definition of who you are and where you belong, providing both a place to sit and countless chances to stand up for what you believe in. It's a rite of passage, a declaration of independence, and an invitation to discover 43 new heroes and 100,000 new friends. This is more than a ticket, because it says as much about you as any piece of paper can. Reserve yours today at NASCAR.com/tickets.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
There have been some changes at the top. Less than a minute to go in the opening practice of the weekend for the Sprint Cup Series. Kurt Busch, fastest. Denny Hamlin jumped up to second while we were away. Casey Kane, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., your top five. Martin Truex Jr., as we said, was at the top. Now he's fifth. A.J. Allmendinger sixth.
Uh-oh.
That's not where you want to be.
Asked him if he wanted one more.
One too many?
I'm not sure what happened here.
I think he's looking to see if he's trying to cut maybe across to get back into the entrance of pit road.
Something happened around turn 10 here. No, this is turn 11. They asked him if he wanted to make another run. Somehow that car just quit.
Makes you wonder.
Or do you think maybe he wanted to re-rack and take the green again to make his run? It won't matter now.
No, practice is concluded.
There's
another one right there.
It's just all falling apart here at the end.
Yeah, it is.
Pressure's getting to him.
Chris Cook off track. Martin Truex Jr. sitting idle.
That's a bad sign.
Practice number 1 in the books. Kurt Busch, the man who was fastest. He will go for not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 poles in a row later on today. We'll have qualifying here on Speed. We thank you for being with us for practice. So long for now from Sonoma, California.
One practice down, and qualifying is up next for NASCAR's top series here in the beautiful countryside of the Sonoma Valley at Infineon Raceway. It is road course race number 1 of 2 and also race number 16 as we edge closer and closer to the cutoff for the chase for this year's championship. And you know what? If you want to run for a championship, you got to do well everywhere, and that includes the road courses. Let's take a look at what's still to come today on Speed as we check out our menu, and it's Barrett Jackson Automobile Auction at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. And then you'll want to tune in for Sprint Cup Series qualifying, because if there is a track where qualifying position is important, it's got to be this road course. So many drivers have won from the pole over the years here, and you know what? Track position in this day and age is absolutely golden. I want to welcome in our good friend Randy Pemberton. Randy, you know what? It was not easy out there today. The road course is always eventful in qualifying and especially in practice.
Well, you can talk about qualifying being very, very important, but on top of that, everybody wants to have a good race out here. This racetrack is perhaps the one that tests the driver more than any other. Now, a lot of times you'll hear, oh, it's Bristol or it's Dover. But if you can't get around Infineon, you're going to be in the dirt, and chances are you're going to wreck your race car. And we had some of that going on here during practice, Johnny.
And one of the biggest differences between this track, Randy, and others is the elevation change. And look what kind of toll it took on some of these drivers.
Sure did. Look at right here. Brad Keselowski getting the blue deuce off the track. Of course, you know, he's trying to make a good showing here this weekend. Wow. We got another one right here. David Reagan, thank goodness that he doesn't catch the wall. Also, a guy that's always hard on it. Then we have P.J. Jones, another Robbie Gordon car getting off the dirt. Pretty good road course racer as well. Michael McDowell in the 66 off course as well.
Let's take a look now at the top 5 in practice as Martin Truex went for a little wild ride towards the end of practice, but he still came in 5th on the speed chart. And remember, he was one of the guys that left here pretty hot and bothered after a run-in on the racetrack with Jeff Gordon.
That's a good point. I don't think a lot of people have forgotten that, and certainly Martin Truex Jr. has not. How about Kevin Harvick, Johnny?
You don't want to really worry about Kevin Harvick in practice, but you do want to worry about him when he's 4th fastest. This could be a big weekend for Harv, who's having a great start to this season. Casey Kane has won at this track before, and he was 3rd fastest in practice. Now, that is a team with all the off-track rumors going on right now.
Well, they could use a win. They certainly could use a win, and Casey's a guy that can get it here. Denny Hamlin been really turning it on, of course, coming off the win 1 week ago at Michigan. He is not bad on the road course. The main thing for Denny as he creeps up in the point standings, keep the car on the racetrack.
And if your last name is Busch and you're driving a race car, you can win somewhere along the line. And Kurt Busch finishes the first practice of today, or actually the only practice session of today, in the first spot, so he will lead us.
And how about the fact that he's going for 4 poles in a row on completely different racetracks and coming here? Got a good shot at it.
And that would be an amazing feat if he could pull it off. Right now, we're going to check in with our pit reporters as we start off with Wendy Venturini. Wendy?
Thank you, Johnny. Here in the garage area, Martin Truex Jr. has just pulled in. You saw him moments ago, stopped on the racetrack. We did check in with the team, and they said it could be the carburetor linkage, and that's why you saw him stall out on the racetrack. And then he was able to fire it back up and come into the garage. But the big question in this practice session is fuel mileage. Teams are looking for that magic number. For this stuff right here, the ethanol blend fuel that we're using now this year, different fuel mileage numbers than what we had last year at Sonoma. Now, last year it was a 2-stop race, and it was barely a 2-stop race. So the big question that's going on, engineers are computing numbers from this practice session that just ended. The magic number, 4.0. That's the mileage they want to get in order to make it a 2-stop race, but we could possibly on Sunday see 3 pit stops for these teams. Bob Dillner.
Wendy, mileage certainly on everybody's mind here in the garage area, but it's a razor's edge to try to get your car set up correctly around the twists and turns of the Sonoma road course. A.J. Allmendinger made a mock qualifying run late in the going in this practice session and really moved up the speed charts. 6th quick overall. He has been battling the drive up off, and they've been trying to get this car to turn in the corner, but yet get that great drive up off, because that's where you're going to pass people when the race comes here on Sunday. But on the opposite side of the spectrum, the 43 is 6th. Well, the 42 car of Juan Pablo Montoya, not too good. He's 23rd on the speed charts after this first practice session. And honestly, Juan Pablo Montoya and this team struggling. I spoke to crew chief Brian Patty, and he said Juan kept on wanting the drive up off. So that's what we were working on. But it got the car very, very tight in the center. And then finally, at that mock qualifying run, Brian said, let me loosen it up just a little bit. They did, and it was so much better for Juan Pablo Montoya. But guys, he just walked off. And as a former winner here, you could see his facial expression. He was not all too happy with his first practice.
Bob, thanks a lot. And there's good reason for him not to be happy, because when you get behind the 8 ball, Randy, here, it's hard to get back because passing is at a premium and track position is huge.
And I'll tell you another wrinkle that we can throw in here this weekend. Once again, Goodyear has brought another tire combination to a racetrack. The time of these tires and how good for how long is a big question mark. So if you can make it on fuel in 2 stops, that's a good thing. But if you start losing a lot of time on tires as they go away, you might have to make it in 3 stops anyway, because you got to get the good out of the tires. So we'll have to keep our eye on that, Johnny.
Well, Randy, this racetrack has not been friendly to David Reagan over the years. He's raced here 4 times. He's hoping the 5th time will be a charm for the number 6. We'll talk to driver David Reagan when we come back to NASCAR Live, presented by Geico.
NASCAR Live is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. Brought to you in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Experience more at FunaiAmerica.com. And by Dollar General. To get your favorite brands for race day, visit Dollar General. Save time, save money every day.
Walls can talk, but it's our job to make them say something interesting. So how about this weekend we learn some new tricks of the trade? Then break out our doing clothes and get rolling. Let's use some paint that helps us get the job done in record time and makes a statement when we're finished. we're lowering the cost of a new favorite color. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Get $5 off gallon cans of our top paint brands now through July 4th only.
Check out huge savings at Bass Pro Shops and BassPro.com. Like this Bass Pro Patriotic Chair for only $12.99 and the Coleman 10x10 Sundome tent for under $100. Plus, don't miss our free family summer camp. Find out more at BassPro.com/camp.
My feet are killing me.
Well, we're here to get you custom orthotic inserts.
Dr. Scholl's Custom Fit Orthotic Center recommends the custom fit orthotic that's best for your tired feet. Foot care scientists are behind it.
You'll get all-day relief
for your tired, achy feet.
For locations, see drscholls.com.
I rely on my pit crew for a lot of things, both on and off the track. But when it comes to my cars, I take care of them myself because I know I'm going to do it right. Armor All, care for your car. And to protect against brake dust and grime, try new Armor All Wheel Protectant.
It may seem ordinary, but in the right hands, this wristband can do incredible things. It can inspire kids to go farther in school and in life. Construct a playground for kids who've never had one, or help children with illnesses experience the ultimate race weekend. But the most amazing thing about wearing this wristband is showing your support for kids in need. Get yours at NASCAR.com/unites and learn how you can help us reach our goal of 1 million volunteer hours.
I'm Tony Stewart, and I wear my band to Unite for Kids. Band together with me by logging on to www.nascar.com/unites. Pledge your support.
Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Live, presented by Geico, coming to you live from Infineon Raceway in Sonoma, California. And this weekend, drivers will be put to the test both physically and mentally by this road course that has a variation in elevation like no other course on the circuit. But it is a huge learning curve for young drivers to pick up what goes on at the road course. Bob Dillner standing by with one of those guys who only has 4 tries but is improving every time. Bob?
Yeah, Johnny, you know, it's funny. We spend so much time focusing on the guys that are the road course specialists. Well, a guy like this guy right here, David Reagan, certainly still learning around this racetrack, but he's got a big old smile on his face, despite the fact that you got off the black and you went on the brown. What was that about?
There just wasn't enough black out there. We've really been fighting rear grip and forward drive with our UPS Ford as Allmendinger's over there playing with us. I need to go ask those guys for some advice. But, you know, it's a little free, and at most tracks you can just chase it up the racetrack and you got room to save it. But I hit some dirt and gravel and grass, and just lucky it didn't tear the UPS Ford out.
You know, we talked about this just a moment ago. You know, coming out here, it's beautiful country. But at the same time, you used to stress about coming out here because you don't even have a top 25 finish, but this year is a different atmosphere for you.
Yeah, it was so much of a challenge my first couple of years. You know, growing up, I raced short tracks and you know, a lot of asphalt tracks, and never really got to run any road courses until like 07, my first year, running a nationwide car for Roush. And so it was a frustration. You know, it was a rough weekend for us. And so I've gotten a lot better here. I spend a lot of time. I come out early and practice just to try to get back in the rhythm of turning left and turning right. And, you know, by no means am I a master at this, but I definitely feel a lot more comfortable. And the last couple of years, we've had some decent speed here. We've been able to, you know, run some top 10, top 15 lap times. And just so much, you know, luck goes into where you're going to finish. So I learned to have a good time out here, kind of progress and get better as the weekend goes. So watch out for the UPS 4. We might luck up and, you know, get a top 10, top 15 would be a good run for us.
Keep it on the black.
That's for keep it on the black.
David Reagan, 28th quick in that practice session, Randy.
Boy, he's just fun to listen to. He's so optimistic, and he's been getting it done lately too. When you think about him winning the Open to get in the All-Star race, but when you come here, Johnny, to Sonoma, the one thing you don't want to have happen is get off the racetrack and make him pull a backup car off. He just missed it.
Yeah, they call this a finesse racetrack, but also a momentum racetrack as well. And one guy who has some tremendous momentum going on for himself right now is Denny Hamlin. Here's his record, Randy, at Infineon Raceway. In 5 starts, his best finish is a 5th.
A lot of drivers would like to have that 17.6, and he's certainly done very well here. You know, and when you talk about where he is in points and what he's gained, and it's not just the win at Michigan, it's the fact that this guy, 10 races ago, he was nowhere to be found. He was 21st in points, but there you see it. Darlington a 6th. Look at how solid he has been. And this is another, when you come here to Infineon, I think he wants to have a clean day here, get out of here with a top 10, and move on.
Denny Hamlin hasn't been in every chase, but he has been in the chase every year he's competed in Sprint Cup competition, Randy. But they said at the beginning of the year that this point system was going to make it harder on a driver to move up in points. But Denny Hamlin has been really putting on a clinic at exactly how you move up in this point system.
And I think it's shown in this point system. One thing you do not want to do is you do not want to have DNFs. I mean, that really critically hurts you in the point standings. He's been able to keep away from that for the most part, having just an engine failure. But he served notice last week, even after the oil pan debacle on Friday and so forth. He turned it all around, won a solid race in Michigan. Like I said, looking to get out of here with just a clean race car.
Yeah, you cannot keep a good race team or a good driver down for long, and Denny Hamlin is actually showing us how that can happen on the racetrack. Tomorrow, Northern California will be rocking as Marcus Ambrose brings some international flavor to the wildest party in racing. Don't miss NASCAR Trackside from Infineon tomorrow at 11 Eastern, only on Speed. Back with more NASCAR Live in just a moment.
Barrett-Jackson Haggerty Fantasy Bid returns to Speed. Watch the auction live from Orange County and bid for your chance to win cool prizes. Barrett-Jackson Haggerty Fantasy Bid live tonight at 5 Eastern on Speed.
Green flag.
Is your computer running slowly?
What if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today. Learn how at ready.gov.
We are the face of Comcast.
I'm a perfectionist. At least I try to be.
At Comcast, we solve problems.
If we don't resolve the problem the first time,
we'll extend a courtesy service to our customers.
You're a customer, you deserve it.
If you're a new customer and you're not satisfied with our services,
you can get your money back in the first 30 days. It's a phenomenal thing to offer to our customers.
We're only as good as our word. And our word is good.
Whether it's getting you a $20 credit if we're late or 30 days to try us out, at Comcast, we're all about the customer, and that's always guaranteed.
America tonight. We're talking all-you-can-eat baby backs.
Fall off the bone good. On an endless dinner buffet.
For around $10.
Golden Corral does it again. Our endless mouth-watering baby back ribs are back. Non-stop fall-off-the-bone baby backs drenched in our signature barbecue sauce. All on our endless dinner buffet, still for around $10.
$10? I am blown away.
Golden Corral. Help yourself to happiness.
Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Live, presented by Geico, coming to you from the beautiful countryside of Sonoma County, California. This is race number 16 of the season. That puts us well on the downhill side to the race for the chase. That cutoff happens in 26 races into the season, just 10 from now. So let's take a look at the points, see where we are riding after 15 races. And Randy Carl Edwards still on top, Kevin Harvick on the move upward, and recently Jimmy Johnson was on the move downward after a disappointing run in Michigan.
Yeah, and also Carl Edwards a couple of weeks ago at Pocono had the huge lead. It only takes one little slip. Next thing you know, you're going down on the point standings.
Let's take a look at the wild card guys right now. Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart have the spots. Biffle, Martin, Montoya, Keselowski, and Smith want them.
It's very interesting back here, and I think Tony Stewart, this is a place that not only does he need a win for the race team, but he needs a win for the season, you know, to get up there and get one of those in the column. And then, of course, as we go further back, who is going to make the chase? It's only the top 10 this year, not the top 12, and then a couple of wild cards.
Yeah, and if there's any place that Tony Stewart can pull off a win, it's definitely here on the road course, because he's been so good on the road courses over the years. But one thing about road course racing, it's a little bit like the short tracks. There's not a lot of real estate out there. Sometimes the beating and banging can turn into some pretty serious aggression, and that's what many drivers were addressing today in the media center.
Road courses have become very physical races, and the cars look more like they should have been at Martinsville than you know, probably anywhere else. So it's a fun race. It has become very physical over the last 3 or 4 years. So I think that's more of a tribute to this particular car, because it's just, you can be more aggressive with it and not get yourself in trouble with fenders dragging tires and things.
If you can start up top 4, top 6, you tend to have a pretty clean day. But if you're any farther back than that, it seems like it gets a little hairy, and especially towards the end of the race. I mean, everybody's trying to get everything they can. They don't give any room. They don't care who they're racing with, and they'll push you off course and do whatever they got to do for themselves, and can really hurt your day. So, you know, you just have to be conscientious of all of that.
I'm not sure. It's we have our cars here that can put up a big fight, and they don't take the damage as rough as they used to. So you can really lean into somebody pretty hard and still maintain your track position.
When you're in the center of the pack, it's just an energy that exists. When somebody makes a questionable move on you, then your excitement level goes up, and now you make a move on a guy, and it just kind of breeds this style of racing, and we're going to see it. And anymore, the passing zones, drivers are so aggressive in defending the passing zones and the braking zones that you've got to find a different way by, or just bomb it in there, and 8 tires are better than 4 mentality, and hope that you make it. So I think there's a very good chance of a lot of action taking place.
And you know what, Randy? We've been seeing a phenomenon so far this year, and it will probably continue this weekend at Sonoma. There certainly haven't been as many cautions this year. These guys just aren't wrecking as much. And like Kurt Busch said, the cars are holding together better when they do wreck. So it's going to make for a lot of interesting strategy going on.
Well, I think we're going to make up for all that here in Finion, because we saw what happened last year. And yeah, the competition is so close on the ovals. We talk about how close they are and how difficult it is to pass. Well, it's even more so here at Infineon. You heard the drivers talking about aggression there, and there's a lot of paybacks that could possibly take place. It's very easy to do here at Infineon. You just said, oh, I tried to get in the corner. I'm sorry I ran into you. Didn't mean it. But, you know, you ruined some person's days for sure.
Exactly. And what do they say? Payback is a dish served best cold. Well, keep that in mind, as this Sunday, the ultimate pre-race show in NASCAR brings you the biggest names, and you can catch up on the latest headlines before the Sprint Cup stars hit the road course in Northern California. Don't miss NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, from Infineon, Sunday at noon Eastern, live on Speed. Well, the NASCAR world is centered here in Sonoma County, California, in the middle of wine country, but there is a lot going on in the rest of the world of motorsports. Let's send it back to Speed Center right now and join Danielle Trotta. Danielle?
Thanks, JR. Things are awfully looking good in the land of the grapes there, but if you want some cheese to go with that wine, let's head out to Wisconsin at Road America, where the cheese state is hosting the Nationwide Series. In practice this afternoon, I hear you, Billy Johnson. Take a look at this. He's filling in for Carl Edwards, who's in California with JR, and Billy was quickest in practice. Formula One champ Jacques Villeneuve second, and points leader Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was 7th. MotoGP qualifying this morning in the Netherlands. Marco Simoncelli scored his 2nd career pole, barely edging out American Ben Spies, championship leader, and last race winner Casey Stoner fills out the front row. Back in the United States, the first IndyCar practice was earlier today at Iowa Speedway. 2-time winner Dario Franchitti was fastest on the High Bank Oval. He's tied with Will Power in the points, who ran 6th quickest, and Takuma Sato was 2nd on the bumpy short track. Barrett Jackson coming your way soon at 5 o'clock. More NASCAR Live from Sonoma after the break with John Roberts. I'm Danielle Trotta. We'll see you soon.
Start July 4th weekend with NASCAR on Daytona's new pavement, Martina McBride, and the Southeast's biggest fireworks show, the Coke Zero 400, powered by Coca-Cola. Call 1-800-PIT-SHOP or visit DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
At Bayer, we've been relieving pain for over 100 years. And today we're reinventing aspirin for pain relief with new extra strength Bayer Advanced Aspirin. It has microparticles, so it enters the bloodstream faster and rushes relief right to the site of your tough pain. In fact, it's clinically proven to relieve pain twice as fast. New Bayer Advanced Aspirin. Extra strength pain relief, twice as fast.
Alone, you have
Gentlemen, time to get close. You can't shave close if your beard is laying down.
Electric Shave stands up whiskers for an up to 52% closer shave. Lubricates skin too.
Smooth cheeks.
Electric Shave.
Get close.
Before Allegra, I couldn't get fast, non-drowsy relief in one allergy medicine. After Allegra, I have the only one that combines fast, non-drowsy 24-hour relief.
Proven effective even at 8 times high pollen levels.
After Allegra, I have it all.
I find entertainment just magical. Not because I actually know magic, but because I have Xfinity. Watch as the world's greatest on-demand collection gets even better.
Xfinity customers upgrade to Digital Preferred and get over 60 additional channels. Plus, even more of the world's greatest collection of on-demand shows and movies for only $9.99 more a month for 12 months. Call 1-800-XFINITY today.
Ta-da!
Magic.
It's race time at Walmart. From official gear to snacks for race day, you'll find everything you need. Gear up, stock up, and save. Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Live, presented by Geico. One of the truly great things about coming to the road course is the fact that you get to see some faces and some drivers that we don't see on a weekly basis in NASCAR's Top Series. So said heads of the world rejoice. Boris Said is back behind the wheel of a race car, and he's with Wendy Venturini. Wendy?
Thanks, Johnny. Yes, the one and the only, Boris Said. Now, Boris, you just got out of your race car for this first practice session. Was it really as bad as what you told me it was?
Well, I mean, I've had a tough start this year. I mean, my Federated Auto Parts car in the West Series blew up on the first lap, so my first lap will be qualifying in a minute. And unfortunately, my Phoenix Racing security benefit car was a little slow in practice. I mean, usually I would like to be a little quicker, but at the end when we finally made our sticker run, we had a lot of traffic. So I think we're a little better than the timesheet showed, but we still have some work to do. I mean, the track is really slippery this year, so the Phoenix guys are hard at work at it, and hopefully we can get a good run for security benefit. And thank you, Teacher, Chevrolet, all those people out there.
Now, in your experience on these road courses, what's the key here, and why do you think it's so much more slick this time around?
I don't know. I mean, I know they have a different tire. Goodyear brought a different tire, and it's not that hot out. It's been hotter here when we've been here, but the track just seems really slippery. It's like you're on ice skates out there trying to manage the 900 horsepower I got with Hendrick this year. But I think if we make the right changes, and even if qualify doesn't go that great, we still have 2 practices tomorrow, and I'm sure we'll get the car better.
All right. Well, good luck in that, and hopefully you won't have ice skates on later on. Johnny?
Wendy, thanks a lot. Now, out of the road course ringers that are in the field, Boris Said has the highest finishing position ever at a 3rd. So there is a possibility, but Randy, the thing the ringers are up against is they don't work with their pit crews or their crew chiefs week in and week out, whereas these other guys do.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go on the record. I'm not sure about his equipment here this weekend, but to me, Boris Said is still one of the best road racers in the world, bar none. Here's the problem that road course ringers face. First of all, if they're having a good run and you close it in on 4, 5, 10 laps to go, a guy like Boris Said is the first one to get punted off the racetrack because everyone knows he's not running for points. The other problem they have is they're not often running for some of the best teams. Guys like Roush Fenway, they don't have cars for Boris Said because they're loaded with good race car drivers. So those are the 2 difficulties. The biggest one, getting punted off the racetrack. Nobody wants it there.
That can certainly ruin somebody's day on the road course. Got to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have some final thoughts on this edition of NASCAR Live presented by Geico. We'll also get you ready for qualifying this afternoon. Stay with us.
NASCAR Live is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. Brought to you in part by Feed the Children and Speedway Children's Charities. Visit speedtofeed.org for more information. And by Race, Rock, and Refresh. To learn more about your chance to win a trip to Chicagoland Speedway and a Toyota Tundra, visit Dollar General. Save time, save money, every day.
Grand Am Rolex Sports Car Series. 2 classes, 1 race. See it on Speed. Saturday, June 25th, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Right here in America, more than 17 million children face the possibility of hunger. This should not be happening, not here in this country and not in our racing communities. That's why Feed the Children is teamed up with Speedway Children's Charities to stop childhood hunger in its tracks. Here where these flags fly together with pride. The race is on to end childhood hunger, and you can help. Go to speedtofeed.org for information and to join our pit crew.
Green flag.
Some people think Allstate only protects your car. Here's the truth. Allstate can also protect your home or apartment, as well as your boat, motorcycle, RV, and snowmobile, and even your retirement and your life. Not many insurance companies can say that, but Allstate can. Now that you know the truth, know this. The more of your world you put in good hands, the more you can save. Dollar for dollar, nobody protects you like Allstate.
Look, we've all dealt with the itching of athlete's foot. I can't just wash it away. Killing it takes clinical strength. I only use Lotrimin Ultra. Its powerful formula can even cure severe cases of athlete's foot. Nothing cures better. Lotrimin Ultra, the killer cure.
He's going with the long tongs. Would have gone short tongs, but he's a pro. Montreal steak, unbelievable flavor.
With the mouth-watering flavor of Grill Mates, you can grill like an expert. McCormick Grill Mates. Master the flame. Master the flavor.
Welcome back to NASCAR Live at Infineon Raceway here in Sonoma, California. That car right there, the driver, Jeff Gordon, a 5-time winner here, but he hasn't won at Sonoma in nearly 5 years. 18th quick in that first practice session, but here's what Jeff Gordon needs to work on. The car chugging up the hill just a little bit. So we just saw the team take a brand new carburetor, and they are putting it on the engine. Hopefully that will be a fix for that problem, Johnny, when he goes out to qualify.
So much to work on and not much time to do it. Randy, qualifying coming up next, and we know starting up front is important.
Yeah, we always talk about the possibility, could somebody wreck during qualifying? It doesn't happen very often, but I got a buck in my pocket that says somebody goes off the racetrack for sure during qualifying. You got to keep it on the track, JR. That's the main thing.
Chances are we'll see some activity. You can see that qualifying at 11 o'clock tonight on Speed, but right now let's go to Barrett Jackson Automobile Auction Live.